Playoff season continues on the campus of Montclair State. We had soccer last week, and now we're at the Pandra Athletic Center as the number 2 seed Redhawks host the number 3 seed Stockton Ospreys in the NJAC volleyball semifinals. I am your host, Tim Glassell, alongside CJ Staniak. CJ, how you doing today?
Oh, I am doing absolutely fantastic. What a time it is right now, the last NJAC tournament of the fall season, and no Montclair State Conference Championships just yet, although it has been a very successful year for all of the teams. Just 2 wins stand between this Montclair State volleyball team and an NJAC title. We should be in for a fun one tonight, Tim.
Certainly, CJ. It's hard to believe, but it has been 3 years since the Redhawks have had a postseason game at home. It's always huge to have that home court advantage.
Oh, I mean, it is always fantastic to be able to play a home playoff game, but it's even better when you're able to answer that 3-year drought and get back in this building. The Redhawks went into the conference final back in 2021, the last time they played here at Panzer, and just like that team, this Montclair team, very high expectations. Only one player remains from that 2021 roster. That's senior libero Katie Rodman. She's in her final run as a Red Hawk. We spoke to her before the game. She says she's focused on keeping it light, having fun, and no doubt that tonight she has her sights set on extending her collegiate career.
Yeah, Katie Rodman definitely has that experience. She's going to look to be that leader for the team. The NJAC is very deep, and it's not going to be easy to take home the NJAC trophy this year. CJ, how is the playoff bracket shaking up so far?
Oh, I mean, it is just so many outcomes potentially on tonight. You obviously see on the other side of the bracket, William Patterson and Rowan facing off, and then Montclair State and Stockton, the game that we're covering here tonight. And for both of these teams, their season could end here tonight with a loss. And on the flip side of things, I mean, if Rowan is able to win against William Patterson, you might end up seeing a home game for both of these teams, for either one of them in the NJAC final. So should be in for an absolute blast. Just so much going on. However, we have some awards to talk about here for Montclair State. Our man, Vincent Bacone, on the sideline. What do you got, Vin?
But it's been capitalized by not 1, but 5. That's right, 5 all NJAC players this year. That is a Montclair State volleyball record. Capitalized with number 1, the NJAC Rookie of the Year, the NJAC Kills Leader. Cameron Muse, the freshman phenom, has been amazing. Then on the all NJAC second team, not 1, but 2 members have been represented. 1, the amazing defensive presence from the veteran Katie Rodman, and 2, 5th all-time in Montclair volleyball history with in assists, Emily Karsick, and then finally Rachel Curran and Sarah Capone are 2 honorable mentions for this team. We're going to throw it back down to the booth as they've had a great season. Back to you guys over there.
Thank you, Vin. We'll be talking to you very soon, I'm sure. And this Montclair State team has been on an absolute tear in the NJAC so far this year, but it wasn't always that way. In the NJAC opener, they ended up playing against William Patterson and lost that in 4 sets. Now, Coach DeWinski, RHSN talked to him after that game, and he said better things are on the horizon, and that was correct. If that didn't spark a run, I don't know what did. And it ended up being against Stockton in the next game. It was the start of an 11-game winning streak, 7 of those wins being in the NJAC. They ended up winning out the rest of the way. They would only lose 4 sets. One of them was to Stockton, but as we know, none of these stats matter in the playoffs. It all comes down to this.
Yeah, Montclair State had a really good year in the NJAC, but last matchup against Kane, CJ, it wasn't their usual dominance. They lost the first 2 sets.
Yeah, it was definitely an uncharacteristic first couple of sets there for Montclair State, going down 2-0 early to the Cougars. The Redhawks know that they can't afford to come out slow tonight. We talked to Coach DeWinski this week. He made it clear that that start to the match was some of the worst volleyball that they've played all year long. But he also said that match really spoke to the character in this team. The Redhawks ended up climbing back and winning the final 3 sets to secure the first round bye in the NJAC tournament. And while they know that a slow start cannot be the new standard, the resilience of this Montclair State team, especially a young one at that, is something to be appreciated.
Excellent points, CJ. Cameron Muse's historic freshman season has been nothing short of spectacular. She's the leader in NJAC in kills with 343 in the season and is a big part of the reason that they're in the NJAC semis. Let's learn more about her freshman. Let's learn more from the freshman from Colorado.
experience that she was playing against some top teams in the nation, we knew that there was going to be a potential right away.
I'm so happy for her and all her successes. I think she deserves everything. She's such a great person.
The sky's the limit for her.
Hailing from Parker, Colorado, Cameron Muse has had a spectacular freshman season. However, her high school volleyball career might not be what you expect.
I started playing, I'd say, like competitively club volleyball around my freshman year, 8th grade. I was born in a pretty athletic family. My dad played college soccer, my mom played college field hockey, so I knew that I was going to want to play sport in college. It was just a matter of fact of which one I ended up sticking with, and volleyball was that. I actually didn't play a lot in high school, but it definitely motivated me to work harder. I tried to get better every season.
She is already putting great numbers up, but there's room for improvement, believe it or not.
While her coach might think there's room for improvement, fans that watch her play at Panzer Arena might think she is at the top of her game. Muse led the NJAC in kills during the regular season with 343. If she continues at this pace, she will end up with 1,372 kills, which would shatter the previous Montclair State career record set in 2022 by Carly Waterman.
Club definitely prepared me for college a lot more than high school did.
There's always room for improvement, and I think that's one of the things that's making her very successful is that she comes into practice with like a new goal and something else that she wants to improve on.
I visited a couple other colleges for volleyball, and the programs were great. This program was also great, but I just didn't fall in love with the school. The second I walked on this campus, I was like, this is where I want to be. I love the campus. Definitely something that caught my eye. In Colorado, there's the mountains, skiing, all that. Here, there's a lot more trees, which I know sounds weird. There's not a lot of trees where I am in Colorado.
We were just walking to Panzer for practice one time, and she's like, oh, I can't wait for term fall, see all the leaves and they'll drop on the ground. She like loves seeing the colors of the leaves change and like stepping on the leaves. She's like a little kid, it's so cute.
Bryn Batista is not only a friend and teammate to Muse, but also her roommate. And when you're a freshman under pressure like Muse is, it can be good to have support from your teammates, especially those that play the same position.
We definitely hold each other accountable.
It has been a remarkable season for Muse, and she looks to be a major factor in tonight's game. CJ, somebody who has been incredible all season, but does not always get the attention is Emily Karsich. She's currently second in the NJAC in assists with 953 on the season.
And it makes it so easy to have success at the net for a player like Muse when you have someone to facilitate, and that is Emily Karsich. She was the conference leader in assists in the regular season, 953, as you mentioned, here in 2024, and was a large part of the reason for all of the offensive dominance that we have seen from these Redhawks. Second team all NJAC selection, and she will be at the center of things tonight. Look for her to set up attacks all night long, and that battle at the net tonight will certainly be a fun one against a decorated Stockton team.
CJ, it has been a fantastic season for the Stockton Ospreys, and they're on top of the leaderboard for a majority of the major NJAC statistics so far this season.
Yeah, that's right, Tim. I mean, this is an Osprey team that had the same regular season record as the Redhawks, and despite the lower seed in the tournament, one game worse with conference record, they were fantastic all throughout the fall. The NJAC team leaders in points per set, kills per set, and blocks per set. Stockton storming into this game, boasting a 5-game winning streak. They also have 3 all-conference players on this roster, including the NJAC Player of the Year, which we will get to. It's an incredibly talented team and one with a chip on their shoulder. This is no easy victory for the home team. Montclair State can have their hands full today.
Certainly, and CJ, we're almost ready to get going, but one more question for you. Who are the X factors for both sides in this primetime matchup?
Oh, yeah, for the Redhawks, I mean, I have to mention outside hitter Rachel Curran. The other senior on this Montclair State team, she's flown under the radar all season long, but she's shown up consistently. As I mentioned, this Stockton roster going to put a lot of bodies at the net. Obviously, the conference leader in blocks. There's going to be a lot of block attempts. There's going to be a lot of presence at the point of contact, and no doubt that a lot of that attention is going to go to players like Cameron Muse and Sarah Capone, and while that may be true, it also opens up chances for Curran to rack up the kill count. Now, on the other side of things, how could I omit the 2-time NJAC Player of the Year, Nicole Palmer? Only a sophomore, Palmer, an all-around talent, third in the conference in kills per set, and you will, of course, see her flourish up top, but what stands out is her ability to set, block, digs, serve. She's tallied 5 Player of the Week awards throughout the course of the season. She actually only played in 1 set in their dominant victory on Tuesday against NJCU. So on fresh legs, I expect to see Nicole Palmer to make an impact in a variety of different ways.
Great stuff, CJ. I mean, on paper, right, both of these teams seems very evenly matched. Both had very good seasons. But What do you think is the key to the victory tonight if a team wants to get a win?
Yeah, well, I mean, first we got to talk about what Montclair State and what we learned from them this week in practice. Number one on their priority list is serve receive. They want to get that first touch and be able to set their offense up the way that they like. And obviously, we know how many different players we've been able to do great things at the net for this team. You can name everybody from Capone to Muse to Curran. I mean, Lily Thomas, the list goes on, but they're going to have to get that first touch and set things up the way that they'd like to. Now, Stockton on the other side, they're really just going to kind of have to win that battle at the net. There's only one real way to beat a team like Montclair State and to assert your dominance, and that's to show right away that they can beat you at the net. Now, I want to see in this first set in particular for the Ospreys, I want to see them come out and block a couple of shots, and I really think that will kind of throw off Montclair State's game. Obviously, at the same time, Stockton kind of incorporating new things about the season. They have different rotations than when Montclair first saw them, so there's going to be a lot of an adjustment period here in this first set. I think that first one will be crucial to get, just to kind of set the tone for the rest of this one.
I think you make a great point, CJ. If you can stop the outside hitters of Montclair State early, it kind of throws off their gameplay a little bit and kind of gets them rattled. So that would definitely be a key to the game for Stockton. On Montclair State's side, we talked about it all season. They have a talented freshman group. But do you think that the lack of experience from Montclair State will be a factor in this one?
Oh, it is certainly of note, to say the least. I mean, you look at any team and you see a lack of veteran presence. I mean, only 2 seniors on the roster. I mean, pretty crazy to see a team like that. But then you have this freshman class who's come in, and a lot of them are starting, and they're able to contribute right away. Obviously, that raises some question marks when you get to a big game like this. Nobody's really sure how this is going to go. And we know from talking to the players and to the coaching staff prior to this game that's not really a concern for them right now. That they feel as though they play the same way in the regular season as they do in the playoffs. They're going to always bring that intensity. No moment seems too big for them, and we'll have to see if that plays out today.
Certainly, CJ. And on Stockton's side, that's a team with more experience. Throughout the season, they played really well, but there's a lot of women who have a lot of playoff experience and have played in high-pressure games. Yeah,
obviously this is a very storied team, as it looks like we'll break now for the national anthem.
It's almost showtime here at the Panzer Center. We're in for a real goodie today, CJ. I mean, both teams have had long seasons, but very strong seasons, and it comes down to this semifinal matchup.
Yeah, I mean, that's right, Tim. And you look at a team like Stockton, I'm very intrigued to see how this game goes, because Montclair, not a team that faced a ton of adversity during the year. I know they had that Kane game at the end of the year, and they were able to kind of bounce back and win that thing, but they haven't played against a team who has a chip on their shoulder the way that Stockton does right now. Obviously, Montclair winning that first matchup in 4 sets, that's going to kind of put something behind Stockton and give them a reason to come out with a kind of new attitude. And they want to walk into Panzer and come away with a win today and spoil Montclair State tremendous season, I'll tell you that.
These two teams have a lot of history, CJ. This is the second time in their history they are facing off against each other. Montclair State has won 3 of their last 5 matchups against the Ospreys, but this is as even on paper, as we mentioned before, as you can get, and we're really excited to be with you today, guys.
Yeah, we are in for an absolute, it does not get better than this, Tim. You got NJAC playoffs here in this building. It's two great programs and two storied programs at that. Montclair having one of their best seasons in recent memory. Stockton and maybe on the come down from the dominance that they once had on this NJAC conference. We got two veteran coaches going up against each other. We got Allison Walker in her 19th season for Stockton. Coach Eddie Stawinski in his 14th for Montclair State. They've seen each other a ton, and it should be very interesting. I'm excited to see how this chess match will play out.
Yeah, for sure, CJ. We have a big-time matchup ready to get going here at the Panzer Athletic Center, the NJAC volleyball semifinals. First set ready to get going here. Stockton serves it. It's dug out by Cameron Muse. Karsich sets it up on the outside to Kieran. Rodman digs it out, gives it to Kieran again on the outside. It's dug out and returned on the attack by Stockton. Cameron Muse barely digs it out, but it goes out of bounds, and Stockton is on the board first.
And what did I say that Stockton needs to do in the first set of this game? They need to announce their dominance at the net. They need to assert themselves, and getting that started with a block. The Redhawks never really found their footing after that point. Kind of got caught on their heels, and it's 1-0 Ospreys just like that.
Dug out by Muse on the outside now is Kieran. Is blocked at the net, and it barely rolls over. Bumped over from Muse to Kieran, and it's 2-0 Stockton. Too much to handle for Kieran, and right away, Stockton showcasing their power.
Yeah, Regan Mendick on the serve. She's done a fantastic job all throughout the year. She has 40 aces, good for second on the team, had 5 in that first round, and she has put the serves in a good place right now in which Montclair has not been able to find their rhythm.
Regan Mendick once again serving, but that one is too strong, and Montclair State gets on the board.
I mean, right on cue there, Tim. You talk about how great she's been all year long at the server position. I mean, I think you'll take all day with somebody from your server. If you're able to get 2 solid serves, they give you the first 2 points of a set, though.
Bryn Batista serving for Montclair State, the star freshman. Stockton on the attack, dug out by Rodman. Great job by her. It's tipped over by Muse. Set up on the outside, blocked at the net. Karsich sets it up for Capone. She'll tip it right in the middle of the defense, and Montclair State ties it up at 2.
Yeah, that one started with an incredible dig from Katie Rodman. Didn't even have to leave her feet for that one. Somehow got that fist down to the ground. That kept it alive, and then Sarah Capone, the finesse, soft touch over the net.
Batista once again serving, dug out by the Ospreys on the right side. Hit over by Rodman, tipped at the net. Rodman bumps it over to Muse on the outside, dug out by Batista. Capone on the run, blocked at the net once again. Rodman hits it to Capone, blocked at the net again. Hit down right into the floor, and Stockton takes a 3-2 lead, but both teams showcasing their talent early, CJ.
I don't know that I've ever seen something like that right there, Tim. I mean, the Redhawks are facing an absolute brick wall right now in Talia Witherspoon. I mean, third in the NJAC, 84 total blocks. She's going antenna to antenna right now, blocking it.
Stockton once again serving, dug out by Muse, and it's hit right over, and Stockton dominating the net so far. CJ, you said that would be one of the factors of this game.
Yeah, right now I think Montclair is just kind of lacking their rhythm that they normally have coming on into this game. Obviously, they don't want to panic too soon on into this one, but they're going to have to try to pull it together and get good looks.
Katie Lauer served, is dug out by Muse. Capone tips it over. Stockton on the attack. Rodman trying to dig it out, can't get to it in time, and Stockton takes a 5-2 lead.
And that time, Stockton not even really having to do too much at the net, just kind of sent it over and found an open space. Katie Rodman, an all-around great effort to try to keep that one alive. Same with Sarah Capone, unable to do so, though.
Stockton's service game has been fantastic to start this matchup. Hit around the net, and another point for Stockton. It looks like a net violation called on Montclair State there.
And things just not going to plan right now. Montclair, I mean, we talked about it, the players talked about it, the coach talked about it. Serve receive is going to be the key to this game. They're going to have to pull it together in that regard.
And another service error from Stockton leads to Montclair State's 3rd point of the game. But you're right, CJ. We caught up with Cameron. We caught up with Katie Rodman. We caught up with Coach Stawinski. They talked about the importance of that serve receive. And so far it's showcasing how important it is for this first set. Rodman serving now for the Redhawks. Dug out by Lauer. On the outside, tipped over. Karsich digs it out, gives it to Rodman. Muse now on the outside, blocked at the net, and it goes out of bounds. Another point for Montclair.
And that's the first we've seen today of Cameron Muse. I mean, Montclair obviously going to want to try to play through their star freshman, through the NJAC Rookie of the Year, and they're able to do so, and they're seeing positive results the first time they go to it.
Rodman once again serving for the Red Hawks. She's one of the best in the game in the service department. On the outside, and that one is too strong. Montclair State once again on the board, and they're starting to crawl back a little bit now, CJ.
Yeah, man, and that's all you need. You need a little bit of a run here, obviously very early on in the set, and you give up a couple of points in the beginning. It's nothing really to scoff about, but I like that they're able to kind of pull things together and not let it avalanche from there.
Stockton on the attack, and a big-time kill for Stockton to give them a 2-point lead. That time it was Talea Witherspoon on the kill, but you just see the dominance around the net from the Ospreys.
Yeah, Witherspoon checks out of the game right now, but she has been absolutely feasting in the early goings right now.
Karsich sets up Muse on the outside, blocked at the net once again. Stockton playing fantastic defense right now.
Yeah, it seems like it doesn't matter who it is. We saw Witherspoon had a bunch of those blocks early on. She comes off the floor, and they're still able to get things done at the net. They have certainly shown that they're capable of stopping what Montclair has to offer.
Capone on the outside. It's dug out by the Ospreys. Great recovery, and they barely get it over the net. Robin now bumps it over to Karsich. Lily Thomas on the run. She'll tip it over. Mendick hits it on the outside to Palmer, and is blocked out of the net and goes out of bounds. Another point for the Ospreys.
Yeah, that time, Montclair State, I thought they did a really nice job of kind of finding the looks that they wanted. I don't know that Capone got all of that kill or attempt. Potentially could have been one, and then just the block, not able to get it done the other side with Muse and Thomas.
Karsich setting up Capone on the right side. Blocked at the net once again. It's a defensive showing from the Ospreys.
Woo! Tim, early on, Stockton, just nothing doing. Nothing is getting through. The Red Hawks are going to try to maybe explore options on the inside. I know that's probably not something that they've done this year, not something that they want to do, but they're going to have to.
And that's not necessarily their strong suit either, CJ, is Montclair State trying to get back on the board here. Capone now on the right side, and that won't be too strong once again. Stockton on the board, now an 11-5 lead. It looks like Coach Dewinski will call a timeout, and CJ, definitely not the start that the Red Hawks wanted to this game. Stockton dominating around the net.
Yeah, it's a key going into the game. Anytime you play against Montclair State, and I think it is a goal for Montclair every time that they come into a game, they want to kind of control things and play the game the way that they want. And that all starts with the way that they do things at the net. Some of the more storied and accomplished players on this team are those outside hitters, yep. And you see their offensive scheme, what they want to do. They want to get to that right away. They want to get to the outside, and they want to beat you from there. Now, right now, that is not really applicable. It's not happening. You can't do it. Stockton, I mean, it's been a number of different players, and they're just kind of teaming up 2-3 people at a time. They're sending over to try to block these attacks, and they've been very successful in doing so. Now, with time, are some of those going to bleed through? Yes, and you're going to generate points that way, but I think this is definitely something that Coach Dewinski's got to talk to his team about right now. He saw something to call it his first time out very early on, and I want to see what kind of adjustments that they make.
Now, CJ, the Ospreys really showcasing their talent around the net, but you just see so much length on this team, and it's really causing havoc for those outside hitters at Montclair.
Oh, yeah, and you look down the line. I mean, we mentioned, it's also a good time to bring up that Stockton has two of the top three NJAC leaders in blocks this season, Jayla Roll and Talea Witherspoon, both of them with 97 and 84 blocks apiece. And then you look on the other side, and the leader for Montclair State has 66 on the season. So if that doesn't speak to the amount of pressure that Stockton's going to put on you, I don't know what does.
Muse on the outside. That one will be barely in. Good job by Muse with the placement. And yeah, Montclair State back on the board. Emma Hatcher now serving for them, but CJ, good placement by Muse on that last one.
Yeah, great find. She was kind of deep in her own half and able to find that back right corner. I believe some of the Ospreys thought it might have been out, but a great find right there by Muse.
Ospreys trying to get that point back. It's blocked at the net, and Montclair State trying to make a comeback out of this timeout.
Yeah, that's a great way to start to climb your way back into it. 2 quick points, and you want to string right here. You have Hatcher, who's pretty good in the serve department, and now you try to build off top of this and climb back here in this crucial first set.
Hatcher with another tricky serve. Stockton barely able to get it over, but another point and perfect placement in the corner on the kill.
Wow, I mean, that's perfect right there for Stockton and a huge point to generate for themselves. It looked like it was a great serve, and it had kind of thrown the rhythm off. It seemed as though Stockton was just going to send it over, but they just found the perfect placement, and they beat the Redhawks right there.
Nicole Palmer on the serve now, the star sophomore for this Ospreys team. Muse on the outside just tipping it over. Ospreys on the attack now. Big time kill is too strong, and Montclair State once again with good discipline defensively.
Yeah, an interesting kind of game plan that they've come out of here. They're almost delegating the opportunities to Stockton. Muse had a chance to attack that and potentially come up with a big spike, but instead she just kind of taps it over and lets Stockton play their game. Definitely interesting to see that.
Stockton trying to break this run, and a big time kill will do it. My goodness, with an exclamation point.
J-Lo roll. Hello and welcome to the NJAC semifinals. Second team all NJAC. Fourth on the team in kills. Obviously, we said she leads the NJAC in blocks. She's going to do a variety of things, and we're finally getting to see what she can do on the offensive side. And there's a block from her.
Yeah, Jayla Roll really starting to find her groove now. The middle hitter is just playing fantastic. 14-8 lead now for the Ospreys, but I mean, you talked about it, CJ. It's really been the name of the game. The net dominance has really been the story so far. Hatcher digs it out, gives it to Karsich. Kieran on the outside, and that's a kill. Rachel Kieran, let's see if she can start getting going for this Montclair State team, the star senior.
Yeah, and you know she doesn't want to play her last game here at Panzer. Transferred in last year in her junior year, led the team in kills last season, second on the team in kills this season. And it's one thing that I said, you know, there's going to be a lot of attention on players like Muse, but that's going to open things up for Kieran. Obviously, Muse nor Capone on the floor right now, but she's still able to take advantage of that.
Kill is good once again. It just seems like Stockton is really getting a rhythm with their outside hitters. They're getting good sets and getting good opportunities.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, and it almost seems like Stockton's kind of beating Montclair at their own game right now with the in an offensive sense. They're getting to the outside and they're working from there. Really nice work from the Ospreys early on in this one.
Karsich sets up Lopez in the middle. It's barely dug out and tried to be recovered by Karsich, but couldn't get there in time. Stockton really dominating right now.
And this is the way you come in, you silence a gym, and you silence a team who's been on such a great run all season long. You come in, you go on an early run, you kind of bury them in the first set and see if they can build on it.
Kieran with another kill, and that's a pleasant sight to see for the Redhawks. She's starting to get going on the outside.
Yeah, nice work, and it seems as though now Montclair not really shying away from what wasn't working in the early goings of this one. Now they get it right back to the outside, and Curran has had success 2 different times. Maybe she's spinning the ball the right way. Maybe she's just swinging it with the right velocity. Nobody knows, but it seems as though Rachel Curran has come to play today.
Blocked at the net by Montclair State. Another kill attempt is good. This time it was Katie Lauer. And CJ, so far on the Ospreys side, they've really been spreading the love around. A lot of different women getting involved.
Yeah, and that just comes as something that they've done all year long. They have so many contributors. Kate Lauer, first team all NJAC in her career, 2-time on the first team, 1 time on the second team, 7th in the NJAC in kills this year. And that's the first time we're really even talking about her. If that doesn't say what you want to know about this Stockton team, they're going to spread that wealth, like you're saying.
Tipped over at the net right again, and the middle hitters are really dominating for Stockton right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get a point easier than that right there. It was like Montclair set them up for a swing. All they had to do was tap it right down onto that logo. And it's 18-10. Stockton stretching out this 8-point lead.
What a service day from Reagan Mendick. That one is out of bounds right on call, but Montclair State trying to crawl back and stay alive in this first set. They're down 7 right now. CJ, what's going to be the key for them to try to get back in this set?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's hard to say because they're playing their game. It just hasn't worked. So you kind of figure out what's going on. It seems as though the outside's starting to open up.
And wow, Talea Witherspoon with another big kill in the middle of the net. I mean, my goodness, the dominance continues.
Yeah, and to the point that I was saying, I don't really know what Montclair State can do right now because they're kind of just getting beat straight up. They got to kind of play their own game. They got to get better looks. They're off balance and they're not finding their kills.
Muse finally gets on the board with the kill. Oh, they'll give it to Stockton on that when they say it was out of bounds. Thought there may have been a tip, but Ospreys on the board once again. They have 9-point lead now, CJ.
Listen, it's a good look for Muse, but just got it a little bit wide. I like the look, just couldn't execute.
Sarah Capone puts it over dugout nicely by Lauer. What a play by her. Rodman bumps it over to Karsic. Muse on the outside, and a big-time kill, and you see the emotion.
Yeah, that one's got to feel good. Obviously, doesn't feel very nice to get humbled in your first set and to potentially lose this, but it's not over for these Redhawks yet. Kind of got robbed there on that Capone tap, ends up going back over, and Muse finishes the job.
Rodman served to the left side. On the attack now is Stockton, dug out by Batista. Karsic gives it to Capone. She'll try to put it the other way, but that one is too strong.
Yeah, Capone trying to go diagonal. It's something that the Redhawks haven't done a ton early on in this game. They've kind of just gone straight on and try to tightrope those sidelines. She tries to go diagonal, and there was open space, but just a little bit wide, and now Stockton just 4 points away from this set victory here in the first.
It's not a bad idea to switch it up, though, considering how great of defense Stockton has played so far in this game. You got to switch it around a little bit. Dug out by Muse. Karsic gives it back to her. Blocked at the net. Mendick setting up on the outside is Palmer, and she can't get it over the net. Montclair State with another point.
Yeah, good work there from Montclair. Obviously, that first attempt there on the attack, just getting blocked at the net. And honestly, Stockton set it up pretty well from there, but to be able to get a block of your own has got to feel good.
Hatcher once again serving for this team. She's one of the better servers on this team, and she's been getting a good amount of playing time the past couple weeks and has been producing at a high level. Her serve is barely dug out. Karsic setting up Muse now. Muse hits it, dug out now by the Ospreys. Tipped over, and Hatcher can't get it to it in time. Another point for Stockton.
And we're going to see Stockton there for the first time in this game, kind of going with that little soft touch on over the net. It was two different Redhawks there trying to block it, and Hatcher, with a diving attempt, just couldn't get there.
You see Palmer once again serving for the Ospreys. Batista bumps it over to Karsic. Now Hatcher from the back line, blocked at the net. Barely returned by Montclair State. Lily Thomas keeps it alive now. Muse hits it over, and a kill from Muse. What a defensive stand by the Redhawks.
That is a huge one right there for how you're feeling and your confidence in this game. I mean, an unbelievable effort from Stockton. It almost looked as though they were going to come away with the point. But Montclair just one-upping them, stepping that defense up even more, and defense turns into offense.
Karsic with the service, Muse with the service error, and not at a timely point. Stockton now 2 points away from winning this first set.
No, that one hurts right there. You don't want to see, anytime you get a point, you want to try to build off of that, and not only that, but when you've only got 3 points left to give up in this game, just a tough service error right there from Muse.
Karsic hits it over to Kieran, blocked at the net once again. Stockton causing all sorts of trouble right now for the Redhawks.
And this has been much of the story throughout the entirety of this first set. I mean, it hasn't been for a lack of opportunity. Stockton just standing up to the test that is the Montclair attack.
Karsic hits it over to Kieran. Blocked at the net once again by the Ospreys. Karsic now to Thomas in the middle. And Stockton wins the first set. And that was kind of the name of the game for them. Their middle hitters dominated. 25-14. Ospreys take the first one.
Yeah, I mean, just a textbook set right there from the Stockton Ospreys. They come into this game, they come on the road. It's a long bus ride up here, Tim, but they came ready to play, and they were able to kind of win in a multitude of ways there in that first set. Just a huge first set victory, and anytime you're in a game, you want to win the first set, let alone on the road in an NJAC semifinal match.
We kind of touched on this before, but I think the most impressive part about that Stockton first set victory was everybody was involved. Everybody was contributing. Everybody was moving around. That's kind of hard to deal with if you're Montclair State.
Tim, one thing that I want to mention is we didn't even really talk about Nicole Palmer in that first set there. Obviously, she led the team in kills on this season, and we didn't even see her at the net at all. She was more so playing back, kind of returning things, digging out balls. She did a nice work from the service department. I think it was a really great job just all around from this Stockton team. It's a testament to how deep their roster is and how they can kind of find that productivity from a multitude and from a ton of different players and positions.
Yeah, you mentioned Nicole Palmer, arguably the best player in this conference, CJ. She's very versatile, and she's showcasing that right now. They're not one-dimensional, Stockton. There's a lot of different women that can do different things, but on Montclair State's side, they're trying to switch it up a little bit. Their outside hitters are getting blocked at the net. You see maybe Capone trying to go diagonal there. What should they do to try to come back in this second set?
Yeah, it's really tough. for Montclair State. Just not really sure that they really can feel good about that. They came out with their game plan, and it just kind of got stifled from the beginning. Really tough work. I'm not really sure what Montclair State has to do. They got to play their game a little bit more confident. There was times where the first touch wasn't perfect, and they kind of had to send it on over the net. I used the word delegate. Just throw it to Stockton, and they couldn't do it. They're going to have to step their game up here going into the second set.
Yeah, and also, I mean, yeah, you're right, CJ, but we're going to send it over to Vincent. But CJ, we saw a really good first set from Rachel Kieran, your X factor prior to the game.
Yeah, Rachel Curran came out there. There was a little stretch where they kept feeding her over on that far side, and she stood to the test. And I just, it went a little bit diagonally, which something that hadn't really been seen. Rachel Curran, really nice work there. Kind of one of the bright spots in that first set for Montclair State. I'd like to see her out on the floor a little bit more. Wasn't out there to start the game, but there was a sense of productivity from her, and that's not something that you can really say for a lot of those Redhawks there.
CJ, I think another thing we saw, it was very apparent that Montclair State was a little nervous in that first set. There was definitely some first set jitters for the semifinal game. It just seems like they were kind of playing like not to mess up almost, if that makes sense.
Right, and you kind of go back to the fact that this is a young team, right? And you can play throughout the entire year. You can play club volleyball coming on up, but you can't really simulate this environment right here with your season on the line. You have seniors on the line that you're playing for, and there's just no real way that you can account for that. So I definitely think jitters were a factor. However, I think I saw good things from Muse, from Capone. They kept going back to them, and they had the trust in their star players who have carried them throughout the season and have gotten them to this point, and to see them continue to go after and attack is a great sign. I think it's only a matter of time before we start to see some of those attacks drop.
No question. This is a very talented Stockton team. There's no question about that. But Montclair State is a gritty team. We've seen them come back. We saw them do it against Kane the other day. Let's see if they have a response in the second set here. Hatcher serving for the Redhawks. Dug out by Sommer. Lauer hits it over to Palmer on the outside, and it's hit right over and right away. Stockton up 1-0.
Yeah, Palmer, kind of a funny look after that one. She knows that she maybe got a little bit away with one, that net being a little generous for the Ospreys. But finally, Palmer getting some activity at the net and coming through on her first opportunity.
Her 6th kill of the day. She's been fantastic, and a service error by Lauer leads to a point for Montclair State.
Yeah, right there, and that's an opportunity for Montclair to come out now, right now, in these first couple of points, is a chance to make your statement and to say, yeah, you can take that first set, but we're going to respond.
Dug out once again by Sommer, but this time it goes right into the net, but somehow Stockton recovers. Karsic to Batista on the outside. Mendick bumps it over. Dug out now by Rodman. Karsic gives it to Batista on the outside. Once again, it's blocked at the net. Stockton wanted a call, but play continues. Palmer on the outside, she'll just hit it over. Karsic now sets up Muse, and Muse again, this time from the back line. Montclair State starting to find a rhythm in the second set.
Hey, eventually something's got to fall, right? I mean, how many times do we see these attempts and they're either being blocked or they're being received very well by the Ospreys, but just keep on grinding. That's what the Redhawks are doing, and Muse finds one from the back.
Mendick hits it over. Hatcher now to Batista. Blocked at the net once again, and Stockton ties it up at 2.
Yeah, great work from Stockton right there. Bautista trying to go across, and it seemed as though they were just ready for it. Able to play that angle the right way and just play it right on back down, and Stockton picking up where they left off in that first set.
McKenna Ritchie now serving for Stockton. Dug out by Hatcher, nice play by her. Batista on the outside, blocked at the net once again, and Rodman tried to dig it out but couldn't get it to any of her teammates, and Stockton takes a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, they try to go back to this near side, and even though it failed the last time, and though it was blocked last time, they go back to Bautista again, and Stockton just has her number right now.
Ritchie again on the serve. This time it goes out of bounds. We've seen a lot of service errors from both sides so far, CJ.
And it's something that you can't really afford to do, when you're the lower seed, when you're on the road coming into this game against a good team that, especially a team that, you win that first set, you got to feel like you're on top of the world. You can't allow them to get back into this one. And some of these service errors might come back to haunt Stockton.
Blocked at the net this time by Lopez On the outside, it's Palmer, blocked at the net. It looks like Lopez or Batista got a hand on that. And Montclair State trying to give Stockton a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. You see Lopez and Bautista teaming up that time. I believe it was Bautista that got the final hand on it, able to get it back down. That's got to feel good for her.
Rodman once again with the serve. Mendick gives it to Palmer on the right side, and a nice kill by Palmer. Looks easy for her right now, CJ.
Yeah, and I'm really confused why she wasn't more involved in the first set of this thing. Obviously, they didn't really have to worry about that. And Palmer, off of fresh legs, we mentioned, only played one set in that first round of the tournament, so no doubt that she's ready to go today, and you're seeing her start to take over.
Palmer puts a little spin on that serve, and it's hit out of bounds. But I like putting Lopez in this game, CJ. I think that's a good call by Coach Stawinski. Adding a little length around the net as well can help them defensively. Karsic gives it to Lopez. Palmer hits it on the outside. Hit around the net. Muse barely gets to it. Batista hits it over the net now. Palmer sets up on the outside. Blocked at the net once again by the Redhawks, playing way better defense in the second set. Karsic to Batista, and a big tie kill for Batista.
And you're starting to feel this thing maybe shift a little bit. Tim, what do we have here? Is this a little bit of momentum? All I know is that the Redhawks are going to have to try to pick things up from here. They got to crank up the intensity. It starts with a big kill right there, and you just kind of see everybody enthusiastic after that one. It's got to continue for the Redhawks.
Karsic on the serve. Big time kill in the middle of the net there. Great job by Jayla Roll once again. I mean, CJ, between Roll and Witherspoon, it's been utter dominance around the net in the middle.
Yeah, those two have certainly announced their presence early on in this one. Roll had 17 kills the first time these two teams met in the regular season, and she's come back with the same kind of attitude this time around.
Batista with another response. She ties it at 6 for the Redhawks. And we've seen this throughout the season, CJ. It just seems like when there's big moments, Batista steps up for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. One person, another player on this team that's kind of flown under the radar, had an NJAC Rookie of the Week. There's a service ace right there.
Kind of a sinker there on that serve. Fell right in between the defense in the middle. Great job by Batista. Montclair State takes the lead, 7-6. Batista again on the serve. Dug out, Stockton on the attack. On the outside, it will hit off Rodman, and Stockton ties it up once again at 7.
I think Rodman trying to get to her spot there. She knew where that ball was going, just couldn't execute and couldn't get over there in time. That left fist just kind of deflecting it backwards, and a tough break right there from Montclair State. Gotta love it if you're Stockton.
Jayla Roll on the serve now. Capone on the outside. She'll tip it over. Stockton setting up the attack. It's Lauer, and a big-time kill it goes out of bounds. So Montclair State lucks out there. Again, the discipline from Montclair State, CJ.
Yeah, Montclair doing a really nice job and just kind of weathering this storm. Obviously, Stockton has come to play today. They know that, and Stockton creating opportunities for themselves, but Montclair hanging in this thing regardless.
Traska on the serve. Lauer on the outside once again. And kind of similar to last play, it was out of bounds. Montclair State now leads 9-7.
Yeah, just don't ask us if these balls are in or out, Tim. Kind of tough from our vantage point. Right on the line there, back-to-back. Unable to tightrope.
Yeah, especially when Lauer's putting that much power behind it. Stockton trying to make a response here, and they're asking for a tip. They'll say it goes out of bounds on Stockton. Stockton wanted a tip call there. They thought there was a deflection, but either way, Montclair State takes a 3-point lead now, CJ.
Yeah, everybody pleading for that call from Stockton. Not getting it, though. Goes straight out of bounds. And 10-7 now, a little bit of a run here for Montclair State.
And this is the first time you see Stockton a little rattled. On the outside, Muse with a huge kill to give the Redhawks a 4-point lead.
Emphatically, Tim. Emphatic.
And I think this is the first time in the game, CJ, where we can really say Montclair State has control.
And it's got to feel good, right? You get kind of caught on the back foot. You don't really know what you're expected coming into this second set. And honestly, like I said, I don't really know that Montclair had that many mistakes in that first set. It just kind of seemed like they got beat. You know, we can look at a number of different games they've played this year against other teams where we can say, all right, you know, these teams have kind of shot themselves in the foot, right? Whether it be errors, as you're going to see that big spike from Cameron Muse right there, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Montclair State. But like I said, like I'm saying, this Montclair team, we've seen teams that go against them kind of commit errors and make things worse for themselves, dig themselves deeper of a hole. But Montclair didn't really do that in the first set to themselves. They didn't make that many errors. It just kind of got beat, whether it be at the net from spikes. They weren't blocking things the way that they would like to, I'm sure. And so for them to now come out and to garner a 4-point lead here and to force a timeout, I mean, that's absolutely huge for the momentum of this game.
What's been the biggest difference for Montclair State in this second set? It just seems like they're in better rhythm and in more control of the game.
That's what it is. They're getting open looks for themselves, and that makes all the difference, especially when things aren't going your way, but you're getting the looks that you want. You just got to kind of keep at that. And you're going to see Stockton now looks like on the back foot, and that's where it starts, that first touch. I mean, it is absolutely huge, and Montclair wasn't getting that first touch like they like to in that first set. And to now, for them to be on the flip side of this, I mean, it's golden.
And once again, it comes down to that serve-receive, right? They talked about that going into this game, and Stockton looks discombobulated in the second set. Blocked at the net by Muse. She gives Montclair State a 6-point lead.
Riley Wilson looking to respond for Stockton right there. Tries to come to the net and just rejected. Big turn of events in this one.
Trask has done a great job off the bench today for Montclair State. Karsich bumps it over to Batista, who hits it to Muse once again, and another kill for Muse. It's been all Montclair State in the second set.
Defense to offense, they go, and now it is Montclair State who's doing things on both sides.
NJAC Rookie of the Year, Cameron Muse leads the NJAC in kills, and that just can't happen if you're Montclair State. Another service error after pulling away, but they still have a 6-point lead.
Yeah, tough break right there. And honestly, the way I'm thinking about this, even if it's not the serve that you want and it's not in the spot that you want, I think you're okay with kind of giving things to Stockton and making them beat you when you have all the momentum. To kind of beat yourself and give the ball right back to them, that's kind of a tough break and not exactly what you're hoping for there if you're Montclair.
Reagan Mendick on the serve for the Ospreys. Karsich gives it to Muse on the outside. And another kill for Muse. I mean, it just seems like everything is going right for the Redhawks right now.
Yeah, and Muse has been largely incorporated here in the second set, and a big part of the reason why you have seen the results, and not fun. I'll tell you who's not having fun. Reagan Mendick on the other side of this thing, not expecting that one. I mean, big-time velocity off the swing of Cameron Muse, unable to be handled by the Ospreys.
Hatcher on the serve. Mendick bumps it over to Lauer on the outside, is blocked at the net, hits straight up towards the middle, and again, Montclair State on the board. This time it's Lily Thomas.
And Lily Thomas now having a little fun with it. Timeout taken by Stockton.
I mean, Montclair State ecstatic right now, and they should be. They take an 8-point lead in the second set.
Oh, when they're having fun right now, I can tell you, Tim, this is a team that, you know, when you're super young and you try to come into this game and you get beat in your first set, who knows where you're going to go from there, right? And that can really do big things to your confidence. I'll tell you what we haven't seen a lack of. It's been the Montclair State confidence. They're getting back to that net, and they're showing that they are the better team at the net.
Yeah, I mean, it's just literally, I mean, it seems like it's completely different. Like it looks like both teams switched roles almost in both sets.
I was just about to say,
yeah.
It seems like the formula that Stockton had going for them there in that first set when they were able to go on a big run there. And it all starts really, we talk about it all day. We can talk about it. Everything that's happening at the net is where you're going to see all this action. I mean, as great as the liberos are for these two teams, Katie Rodman, we talked about it all year. I mean, fantastic. And she had a couple really nice digs there in that first set. Not to take credit away from her at all, but you just see where this matchup is kind of coming to a head, and it's right at the net. Blocks, able to get that ball through. It's making all the difference in this one.
CJ, I think you're spot on, and a lot of the things you said prior to the game, Rachel Curran being big, net play being big, you've been spot on all game, and I think we're in for a good rest of the game.
If these first two sets have been any indication, this one should be fun.
Hatcher once again serving, barely gets over the net. Mendick hits it to Palmer on the outside. It's hit right into the net, and Montclair State once again on the board and you're starting to see the frustration now from the Ospreys.
Yeah, and Palmer actually didn't even get it over the net. They're calling 4 touches there on the Ospreys, and that's how you really know things are starting to snowball. When your best player and when the best player in the NJAC for 2 straight years now can't get it on over, that's an issue.
Hatcher with a fastball serve right in the middle, and Montclair State is once again, oh, no, they'll say it was deflected, and they'll give Stockton the point. It's been a couple of those calls today so far, CJ, where you don't know if it's been deflected around the net or not.
I mean, that first one, obviously, a few minutes ago where Stockton asking for a call, they didn't receive it. Got to be nice to be on the other side of those things. Maybe we're just balancing out after all.
Karsich sets up Muse on the outside, barely tipped over. Lauer now gives it on the outside again, blocked at the net by Thomas. Mendick gives it to Palmer. Nice play by Rodman to keep it alive. Muse now on the outside, and another kill for Muse. Montclair State doing everything right now.
Just a fantastic effort all around. 3 different Montclair State players. First Rodman to control it. Karsich on the move, able to corral it and get it right to Muse, and she does the rest of the work from there. Just absolutely fantastic volleyball being played on that last rally.
Palmer on the outside, and a good response by her. Palmer never seems unfazed. She just seems she's always under control, always calm, and just plays her game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely a little bit of a boost there when you are the accomplished player that you are, and you know that you're the best player on the court. It's kind of that mentality that you have to have all the time, and she is the best player in the NJAC. So to see her, I mean, it's definitely a little bit of a safety blanket. You're going to see another point there now for the Redhawks.
My goodness, Batista and Muse just having a field day around the net right now, and as you see Sophia Lopez check back into the game, and you know, you got to give Coach Stawinski credit. He's done a good job of making the adjustments that he's had to make in the second set. It's been a completely different game. Muse, good defense by Montclair State, able to return that one. Stockton now on the attack, blocked at the net once again. Palmer tips it over, Hatcher will dig it out. Karsich now hits it back to Batista, blocked at the net once again. My goodness, Jayla Roll is dominant in the middle.
And that's how you do things when maybe a rally's not going your way. It seemed like the Redhawks had Stockton's number right there. Anything that they tried to do, whether it was the soft touch, whether it was a hard spike at the net, big-time swing, it seemed like they were ready for all that. And how do you beat that? You take things into your own hand. Big-time rejection there for the Ospreys.
Palmer's serve is too strong, and kind of see her off her game right now. 20-11 lead now for the Redhawks.
Yeah, pretty uncharacteristic right there for Nicole Palmer. And I will say one thing about her, when they played against MSU in the regular season, just kind of maybe not up to the standard that she would have hoped to serving-wise. Only 1 ace in that game, and a little bit of a tough serve right there as well.
Jayla Roll, my goodness. She has so much power behind her spikes. An exclamation point. I mean, I don't think we've seen a team, CJ, dominate the middle like this throughout the season.
No, I mean, most of the time when somebody goes to the middle, it's not usually a good thing.
Tricky serve there by Ashley Karkoff. Right in the middle of the defense, and don't blink, but Stockton's starting to crawl back a little bit.
Yeah, and I think Montclair, you know, they have a little bit of a cushion. They're allowed to kind of have these things happen, but they do have to pull it together and not let Stockton get too close here.
And Montclair State now out of sorts. Let's see if Coach Stawinski calls a timeout. And he will.
Yeah, that's a great timeout.
20-14 lead still for Montclair State. What do they need to do to close it out in the second set?
Well, first of all, I think that for Coach Stawinski, that's a great timeout right there. You get your team back into the huddle and you let things settle down, because I think you get up into the 20s and you start to feel that blood pressure just jump a little bit more. You start to feel things turn. You're that close to a set, and you get a little over anxious, right? And I think that's kind of what happened right there for the Redhawks, and especially on that last touch, kind of an awkward play, not able to get it on over the net, which was very uncharacteristic, not something that you see a whole lot from this team. So I think right now the message just has to be to settle down, play our game that we played for the first 20 points of this set, and let's take this set number 2 and even this up.
We know that volleyball is a game of momentum, but the pendulum swing in this game has been pretty interesting to watch, CJ.
Oh, and it's going to be huge throughout the rest of this game, regardless of who wins this set. Obviously, I mean, it'd be absolutely crushing if Stockton's able to pull this thing out, and you'd think all the momentum is on their side. But just when we thought that they had all the momentum going into set number 2, it was Montclair with a nice little response, and they get a lead, and they're able to keep it at arm's length from there. They've played their volleyball. They've run with that momentum here in set number 2.
Karkuff serving for the Ospreys. Barely dug out by Rodman. Karsic to Batista on the outside, and it will hit into the side of the net. Another point for Stockton. It's now 20-15. That lead is being cut down quickly. And the momentum really on the Ospreys side right now. Karkuff again serving. Karsic will give it to Capone in the middle. It's blocked at the net, and it's only a 4-point lead now for the Red Hawks.
And what were we saying, right? It's all about running with that momentum when you're able to grasp it. Stockton a couple of points there. Coach Stawinski tries to halt that with his timeout, but it seems like the Ospreys are ready to play coming out of that timeout as well.
Karkuff with the floater serve. Karsic gives it Batista on the outside. Once again, another Stockton point, and the lead is only down to 3 now. I mean, what a comeback from Stockton in this second set.
And there's one thing you have to remind yourself right now if you're Montclair State, it's not a comeback yet because you still have the lead. You still have a 3-point cushion right now. Get back to playing where you are. Don't worry about this run.
Batista with the spike attempt, blocked at the net by Roll. And all the way back to a two-point deficit now. And you just see the emotion from Stockton. I mean, everything going their way right now.
How about the resiliency of this Stockton team? This is a well-coached team, and obviously you start to see it come to life in moments like this.
Capone trying to answer, blocked at the net once again by the Ospreys. Lopez in the middle, barely dug out by Karkuff on the outside. Lauer tips it over. Rodman now hits it to Batista. Batista with the big-time kill to give Montclair State a 3-point lead, and once again, Batista comes up when Montclair State needs it.
You can't speak to how big that one was right there for Batista. Absolutely massive to write this path for Montclair State. Now it's time to build off of that.
Karkuff digs it out. On the outside, it's blocked at the net, but goes out of bounds. Again, a 2-point deficit for the Ospreys. Jayla Roll will be serving for Stockton. Excuse me, she's subbing out now.
This serve right now is the biggest of the match so far, and I think right now, if you're able to get another point on the board and you're the Ospreys, things are going to get real scary here in Panzer.
Camille De La Torre on the serve here, and that one is out of bounds, a costly one. She comes in for the serve and isn't able to get it done.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. You sub into the game, and it's always tough to come into a game cold and you try to serve, and just obviously not exactly what Stockton wanted. She had the right idea, went up that right side. Really nice judgment by the Red Hawks there, and nice patience to be able to not go after that and to let it play out. And now Montclair a 3-point lead.
Ospreys trying to respond once again. Lauer on the outside. Traska with a really impressive dig. It hits the ceiling and stays alive. Dug out by the Ospreys, trying to recover. On the outside is thrown over. Karsic now setting up Capone on the outside. It's on the run, and she couldn't get it over the net. Another point for Stockton.
Yeah, that's big right there, and I like the work that the Ospreys have done. They've kind of put themselves as the attackers in these past few points here, and that's why you're seeing such a stretch right now. Only a 2-point game now. The target 5 points away for Stockton. Montclair starting to feel that lead dwindle.
Reagan Mendick once again serving. She's been fantastic in the service department for the Ospreys this night. Great kill attempt by Muse, and she'll get it once again for her 10th kill of the game. The NJAC leader in kills has been phenomenal in the second set, CJ.
Yeah, absolutely huge. NJAC leader in kills per set, like you said, and that's exactly what we've seen. Kind of quiet in that first set, but the Red Hawks certainly able to kind of pull together and figure out who they need to play through, and she's exactly what you need to get going.
Hatcher once again serving for the Red Hawks. On the outside is Palmer. She can't get it over the net. Kind of an awkward pass to her, and she couldn't get her feet right. And Montclair State is 1 point away from taking the second set.
Impossible angle right there for Palmer. That one not on her. A little bit of confusion with these two, or with two players for the Ospreys. Couldn't figure out who to set it to, who was going to get the next touch. And as a result, now Montclair set point right here for them.
Emma Hatcher has a chance to give Montclair State the second set and even this one up. Mendick gives it to Lauer on the right side. Blocked at the net! Montclair State takes the second set.
And you feel it in this building. All they needed was one. What a fantastic effort by Montclair State to close out that set. Almost was disastrous there right at the end, but way to kind of pull through there. Credits to Montclair State and this team to able to fight off any valiant comeback efforts for the Stockton Ospreys.
CJ, it looked like tides were turning a little bit in that second set. It looked like Stockton was going to make a return. They cut down the lead to 2 at one point, but Montclair State hung tough and was able to get that second set victory.
Yeah, and obviously this set, super huge. That's kind of something that will break you down if you're able to blow. I mean, an 8-point lead there, 20-12, and you just see Stockton climbing back, and that's what's going to happen when you have Allison Walker as your head coach. 454 career wins, 11 NJAC championships in 18 seasons, and of course that 7 straight championships run from 2008 till 2014. She's seen it all. She knows how to get her team focused and back to playing their style of volleyball, and I think it's huge to be able to overcome that and get this thing to a third set tied at 1 apiece.
I mean, you can't get a better coaching battle than between Walker and Stawinski, 2 very experienced coaches that have been here in this situation before. But CJ, why did Montclair State get that victory in the second set? What changed from the first set?
Well, you said it a little bit there in that second set, but it seemed like the 2 teams kind of flipped, and it's all about figuring out your identity when you're at the net, right? I mean, we saw it all throughout that first set for Stockton in particular, where they're getting blocks and they're able to get these kind of big moments, kills as well. And so for now, when you're able to kind of turn that inside out almost, and for Montclair State to now take it, and they're at the net, and all of a sudden you see them getting blocks. You start to see them getting all kinds of opportunities. You're seeing them with the kills. They're getting the ball back to the outside, just like they were in the first set. They didn't change anything as far as their game plan. They changed as far as the execution.
This game's far from over for both sides. It's tied 1-1 right now in the sets. What does Stockton need to do to come back in this third set and try to get a victory?
Well, I really don't think you're too hard on yourself right now if you're the Ospreys, considering how the rest of that set went after they got to a large deficit. But right now, I think the message in the huddle is that you really can't get down that much, right? I mean, they played really nice volleyball for a big stretch of that set, but they just dug themselves too deep of a hole that they weren't able to climb out. So for them, I think the biggest thing to keep an eye on is those first 10 points or so. Try to jump out to a lead and try to find your groove, hit your stride, and by that time, you're able to kind of put the third set away and you're able to take a lead in this game.
We saw Montclair State stack up the middle. You saw DeProfio in there for a little bit. You saw Traska. You saw Lopez. Did that change anything from Montclair State, playing better defense in the middle?
Well, one thing that I saw was Lopez in the game, and I thought she in particular did a really nice job. Traska as well, as you mentioned, at the middle, because it's kind of a weird thing where Stockton goes to the middle. You don't see a lot of teams do that, and when they go to the middle, we're going to send it over to Vincent Bacone on the sideline.
Here with Kat and Robin Bautista. She's smiling over there right now. I mean, semifinals in her freshman year. Just how proud are you of her?
Very proud, very proud. Just happy that she has the opportunity to play on such a good team. It's a great culture that the coach has, and just seeing her perform. I mean, we've seen it. We've been playing since she was 8, so it's really nice to see her on the big stage here in college.
I love him every ball.
Awesome. Now, she's been a huge part of this team. I mean, we've had so much fun announcing her game, and she's been a part of this electric freshman class. I mean, how have you guys really seen her grow and develop as, such an amazing player to this point?
It's just really the opportunity she's had. She's coached well at Jersey Juniors. She had a great high school career, and she just fits right in. She's been playing above her level since she was young. So just the fact that she's fit in with this group, it's been really great.
Yeah, we put a ball in her hands when she was 4 years old. We all played volleyball, so it's really been amazing to watch her grow.
Awesome. Well, my final question is, you guys are sitting up in the stands right now, and you're watching the semifinals. I mean, is there any stress going on up there for you guys?
Yeah, of course. Because it means something. It's exciting to watch. We want the team to do well, and just excited for this opportunity. So I'm just happy to see it.
Excited, nervous energy, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, and we hope you guys have fun in your seats up there. And we're excited to see what Brent can do on the court.
Right, thanks.
Awesome.
Go Red Hawks.
Back to you guys.
Excellent stuff, Vincent. Thank you very much. It is tied 1-1 in the third set, and it is 1-1 in the match between both teams, and this could not have been a better semifinal matchup. Blocked at the net, dug out by Hatcher. Rodman bumps it over to Muse on the outside, and another kill for Muse, her 11th of the day.
I'm really interested to see how these two teams treat this third set, because anytime you see it, when things are tied 1-1 apiece and it's a best of 5, that kind of tiebreaker to get one game away from a victory is absolutely massive. And so for this, I believe both teams are going to treat this like a fifth set, just to 25 points.
Big time hit in the middle, barely dug out there by Batista. Good job by her. Mendick hits it towards the middle. Witherspoon is dug out by Batista once again. Hatcher trying to return it, and it's too strong. Tied 2-2 once again.
That's a fantastic effort right there from Montclair State. First with Karsich able to track that down and so seamlessly play it up. Hatcher, really nice ball to the back part of the court there, just a little bit long in a game of inches.
Lauer on the serve, dug out by Rodman. Karsich hits it over to Muse on the run. Mendick sets it up, and it's blocked at the net. Looks like Karsich or Thomas got a hand on that, and that's, we keep talking about it all game, CJ, but that's huge for Montclair State to get to play well around the net.
Yeah, wow. I mean, Emily Karsich, not really somebody that you're going to see do that a lot and kind of have that presence at the net. Able to step up to the test right there. She's mostly known as the setter on this team, but able to get it done in the blocking area.
Batista on the outside, blocked at the net once again by the Ospreys. Karsich back to Batista. Karsich once again setting up Thomas. Now Ospreys on the attack, Palmer on the run. Hit in the air by Rodman. Hit straight down by Witherspoon, another point for the Ospreys.
And the Redhawks just kept trying to go to that far side, and it was Nicole Palmer and Talea Witherspoon who teamed up there for about 3 blocks in a row and just nothing doing, and then finally able to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Witherspoon able to just tap one down.
Hatcher setting up the offense here for Montclair State. Batista is blocked at the net once again. They're trying to get her going. Muse from the back line is too strong. But you see Montclair State trying to switch it up. They're trying to feed Batista, but she keeps getting blocked at the net.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's smart to kind of play through Batista. Obviously, we saw in the second set right in front of us, absolutely dominated, whether it was blocks, spikes, big-time swings, able to find open holes. So I think it's smart to go back to her, but now you're seeing that attentiveness with Palmer and Witherspoon. She's going to have her hands full over on that far side.
Violation called against Stockton. It's now 4-4, but we talked about this, CJ, going into this game. On paper, this was as close and as even as a matchup as you can get, and it really has been like that so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is a game that all week we knew was going to be super tight, and it's going to come down to limiting mistakes just like we've seen right there. Whichever team commits less mistakes in this set is going to come out one set away from moving on to the NJAC final.
Rodman with a rare service error there. I mean, Katie Rodman, we spoke to her yesterday, CJ. She is a great leader for this team. She's composed, and she's really kind of found her voice throughout the season. Palmer setting up the outside hit, and Muse can't get to it in time. Stockton takes a 6-4 lead.
Yeah, nice work by Stockton right there, able to extend their lead. And to your point with Katie Rodman, yeah, absolutely. We had the pleasure of talking to her yesterday, and just what a poised leader for this team. Obviously, it comes with a little bit more weight when you're one of only 2 seniors on their team, but she is universally loved by all of her teammates. Just a really fantastic player, leader, and she is definitely readied her team all year long. And I'll tell you what, she was the only one on this team in the NJAC final back in 2021. They came up short to Rowan. Don't you think she wants to go out with an NJAC victory and move on to NCAAs? I'll tell you, there's nobody that wants it as bad as her tonight.
Oh, certainly, and she's done a lot for this program, and she wants to get them over the hump, but they have to get through Stockton first. That one out of bounds once again. It's 6-6 now. So we see Emily Karsich serving for the Redhawks, and I mean, it's been a fantastic season for Emily Karsich, currently second in the NJAC in assists, CJ.
Yeah, and now that she was jumped on that list in the first round of the playoffs. So at the end of the regular season was first on the NJAC list. Nice little touch there from Stockton.
Yeah, and it's back and forth in this third set. Currently 1-1 in the match between these two teams, and couldn't have asked for better volleyball semifinal action at Panzer in Montclair. A little chilly day, but nice and toasty inside.
Ain't that right?
Batista hits it over. Lopez hits it straight down, and Montclair State ties it up at 7.
Sophia Lopez has done a really nice job contributing off the bench today, and it's tough when you're somebody who kind of gets sporadic playing time. It comes in streaks, and she has certainly come ready to play in this game today. Really nice work from her in front of the net.
Stockton desperately trying to get it over the net, and we've seen a lot of good serves from Montclair State in this third set, kind of confusing Stockton a little bit.
And just as we said that it was kind of Montclair there when they lost that first set that weren't getting their touches and setting up their offense like they want, you're going to see the exact same thing, and right on cue, Tim.
Another great serve by Batista gives Montclair State a 9-7 lead, but talked about that serve receive. It's so pivotal, especially in a big-time matchup like this. Batista kind of floats it over, barely dug out there by Stockton. Rodman bumps it over to Karsic. Capone on the right side, dug out by Karkov again. Lauer now on the outside. Great job by Batista to dig it out, but they'll give a violation to Montclair, so it's a point for Stockton.
Yeah, I believe that was on Sophia Lopez. Not sure if her hand was in the net or what the case may be, but even with that, you see Bautista serve right there, and even though Stockton eventually found their kind of groove and found the look that they wanted, they were certainly off balance in that first go, and that's kind of the impact that you see with these first serves.
Muse set up on the outside, but she's blocked right at the net. That time it was Wilson, and Wilson's made her point on the game. She's done a fantastic job for this Ospreys team.
Yeah, it's 6 kills in the regular season against MSU, the third leading in kills for the team. As you're going to see, nice little touch right there. How about the work from Emily Karsic?
Sarah Capone with the signature play right there, a little tap over the net, right where the defense isn't. We've seen that from her a lot throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. That all started with Emily Karsic there, setting her teammate up in the perfect spot, and Capone, a little bit of finesse. When you're able to hit it as hard as she does and find open areas, you're able to bring those block attempts, and that's where you can tap it over and have those satisfying ones. But how about the velocity right there?
Lauer, my goodness. Another fastball right at Traska that time. Too much to handle. And it's now tied 10-10. This has been a fantastic third set. See Coach Walker getting her team ready. She's been here before, CJ.
She has been here indeed, and that is the thing with a big coach like this. She has certainly prepared her team for an opportunity, and they have stepped to the test, especially when faced with adversity.
Karsic sets up Capone. Nice play by Ricky to get it out, but it hits right into the net. Montclair State now leads 11-10.
Nice work there for Montclair State, able to get to this near side, and we've seen it kind of flip from side to side between the sets. We've seen them go to that left side, in particular last set, and now this side they're having a lot of success on that right side. They had Palmer over there kind of trying to block things on the far side. Now she's over to the near side. We'll see if any adjustments are made by Montclair State.
Mendick to Palmer, blocked at the net by Karsic, bumped by Muse. She gets it back, blocked right at the net. Great defense. It looks like Witherspoon got a hand on that one once again.
And that's Palmer going kind of antenna to antenna over there to assist. Obviously, it's Witherspoon who comes up able to get the hand on it, but those two, when they have teamed up, I mean, it's been an absolute blockade at the net.
Rodman hits it to Muse on the outside. Rodman will tip it over. Set up on the outside. Rodman digs it out once again. Karsic gives it to Muse on the outside. Great dig by Lauer. Karkov hits it over. Muse can't get to it in time. Another point for the Ospreys as they take a 12-11 lead.
And this is a game where we've seen explosive swing after explosive swing from both teams. So when you get these little soft ones, those are the ones that are going to turn out to be effective. Obviously, if you're Montclair, you kind of have to prepare for the big-time swings and the big-time velocity, but the finesse, you can't really account for that.
That big-time spike by Muse is barely bumped over. Rodman now bumps over to Karsic. Here's Muse on the outside once again, blocked at the net by Palmer that time. Thomas will tip it over. Bumped by Mendick to Palmer on the run, blocked at the net by Thomas. What a defensive play by the Ospreys to keep it alive. Karsic on the outside to Muse. What a play by Lauer. Karkov hits it over. Batista bumps it to Karsic. Muse on the run, and a big-time point, and you see the relief from Muse to tie it at 12.
Relief is exactly right. First we saw McKenna Ritchie with an absolute robbery for Stockton. Then we saw Kate Lauer do the exact same thing. Might have even one-upped her over here right in front of us. And so for Muse to be able to finish that job, relief is the exact right word.
Muse barely gets the serve over, and Stockton can't get to it. What a job by Muse to give the Red Hawks a 13-12 lead.
I'll tell you what, these last couple points hasn't been for a lack of effort for Stockton. I mean, they've kind of been caught out of position, but they've been fantastic in trying to keep these balls alive and just not enough bodies to send that one on over.
Muse with the service error to give Stockton the tie 13-13 in this third set. It's 1-1 in the match. CJ, this has been as good as advertised.
We have been in for an absolute treat, and we could even have 2 more sets after this one, Tim. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. This is NJAC volleyball.
McKenna Ritchie, the libero, serving for the Ospreys. She's been good in this one. Kind of an unsung player for this team. Montclair State can't return the serve. It's now 14-13 Stockton.
Yeah, we mostly have wanted to talk about her, with her digs that she's made. She's put her body on the line a lot of times, but a beautiful serve right there. And obviously, the Redhawks not prepared for that one. Bautista, nice effort trying to dig it out, unable to do so.
Yeah, McKenna Ritchie from Newark, Delaware. Not Newark, New Jersey, Newark, Delaware. Kind of near Newark here in Montclair, but Montclair State trying to return it here. 14-13 lead for the Ospreys. Hatcher gives it to Karsich. Here's Thomas now. Ritchie hits it up to Mendick, and Mendick hits it right into the net, tried to sneak over the bump, but she just couldn't get enough of it.
Really nice job by Montclair State right now. One thing that I'm seeing out of them is they're staying really composed. Even when these balls are going to the other side of the net, and it's Stockton who's picking and choosing their looks, they've stayed calm and they've stayed composed, and they've been able to kind of play their game. They know that they're still capable defensively. They've just been able to show it better later on in this game.
What a serve by Rodman, giving Lauer all sorts of problems on that one. Great job by Rodman, and we talk about her defense all the time, CJ. Obviously, she's known for her digging ability, but she's also a great server.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Had the error earlier on today, but we know how good of a server she is from watching her all year long.
Fantastic play by Muse, keeping it alive. Bautista tries to hit it over to Lauer, and Montclair State takes a 2-point lead.
What a snipe from Bautista right there. Able to get it kind of the back middle. Not really a hole that you would expect to open up. And even if you do try to play that, it's a little bit risky, but she found the perfect spot, and just off the hand of Lauer goes out of bounds, and Montclair State carrying a 2-point lead here into a timeout.
As we said, CJ, we could not have been seeing any better volleyball, but both teams look fantastic right now playing their games. And what is the key for both sides to try to get a third set victory, CJ?
Well, for Montclair State, this is a spot that we saw them in in the previous set, in which they kind of just let things, they got maybe a little bit too comfortable, and they kind of let things come to them instead of attacking and kind of working their own way, as so to speak. Stockton last time around kind of took control, and that was the big thing that I saw out of that. It all comes down to how you're able to slow it down, to settle it down, and to play your game. You get that good first touch, or you receive an attack very well, and you're able to play that, and you're able to move on from there. So a credit to Stockton, obviously, for doing that for themselves and try to climb back into the last set. But this is a familiar situation for both of these teams in the previous. Obviously, the lead maybe a little bit tighter this time around. I'm curious to see the adjustments from both sides, but obviously we know that battle is going to be at the net again. And so I would say for both of these teams, the key is win at the net and build off of that, because that's what you have to do. You have to play solid defense right up front, and you let that flow back to your offense. So net defense, I would say, is kind of the thing for both of these teams.
CJ, we talked about this a little bit before. It just seemed like Stockton dominated the middle, but Montclair State has really found the neutralizer in this game.
And that is Sophia Lopez. She's still out there now, played the entire set. There she is again, getting her hand on it, but no results.
But that's a big difference from the first set. It just seemed like every time that there was a play in the middle from Stockton, they would get a point, but Lopez has definitely been a difference maker in this game. Montclair State has a 16-15 lead. Currently on the game, Stockton has 12 blocks, Montclair State has 5. Stockton's really, one of the best in the biz when it comes to defense around the net. Bautista gets another kill. They say it was deflected. 17-15 lead for Montclair State. Stockton thinks that wasn't touched.
Yeah, they've had a lot of beef with this officiating early on. Just some 50-50 calls, and I'll tell you, from where I am, I can tell you right now it would not be very fun to try to make these calls on the officials tonight. No. Everything, it seems like, is being touched at the net. So those balls that go through, you almost start to question yourself.
Big time hit by Witherspoon in the middle. Hit over now Again to the right side, dug out by Rodman. Karsic to Capone on the outside, tipped over, barely dug out by Lauer, and Stockton can't get it over the net. 18-15, Montclair leads.
First of all, big-time dig there from Katie Rodman. Really nice work on an absolute screamer right at her, and she played it with a lot of confidence. Montclair able to go from there, and Stockton, despite all of the diving and hitting the hardwood, just couldn't get it on back over.
Setting up Nelson on the outside. Blocked at the net, but goes out of bounds. 18-16 Ospreys now.
An odd angle for a swing right there. It almost seemed like it was diagonal, but the wrong way. It seemed like they were playing it like towards the block. The contact ends up going out of bounds.
That was a nice play by Wilson, though, on the outside, and Batista trying to get it over. Blocked at the net once again by Stockton, and it's only a 1-point lead now for the Redhawks.
This is a big thing right now for Stockton, and even when you have a 2-point deficit and you're in a big-time set right here, they've done a really nice job of not letting this lead get too big. They're keeping it at arm's length, and we've seen them turn on the Jets late. We'll see if they can do it again.
Batista tries to tip it over. Karsic hits it to the back line with Muse. Dug out by Karkov. Given to the middle to Roll. She'll be blocked at the net. Lauer just has to hit it over. Karsic setting up Capone on the right side. Tipped at the net. Ritchie able to dig it out. Lauer on the left side. Hit over by Muse. She gets to it in time, but it goes out of bounds. 18-18 in this third set.
Wow, wonderful work from Stockton right there. Just a very fluid offensive attack on that rally. Able to, first of all, play tough defense, and then got a touch to go their way. Set spike from there, and we're tied at 18.
Karkov too strong on the serve. Rough mistake there, gives Montclair State a 19-18 lead.
Wow, just a tough one right there for Karkov. Obviously, when you have the game tied, you want to at least make your opponent make a play, and for that to go out, big-time break for the Redhawks.
Lauer just hitting it over. Rodman able to bump it to Karsic. On the left side is Muse, setting up the big-time kill.
Exclamatory from Muse. And kind of gone quiet in this third set. We saw her, and when she's rolling, this team is rolling. So to be able to get it back to her as this team kind of creeps into the 20s, 5 points away from taking the lead.
Lauer trying to respond. They say it's a violation. She hit the net. It's now 21-18. Montclair State with a 3-point lead, but we saw them in the last set as well have that lead and then kind of dwindle towards the end, so they have to hold on.
Yeah, I think this is another pretty good timeout by Coach Walker there for Stockton, and obviously I think the message kind of remains the same that it was last time that they were in this situation. You know, play your style of volleyball, but I honestly think that Stockton has done a pretty good job, and it's really interesting to kind of see that they haven't made mistakes. Obviously, that service error just a couple points ago, but that's me really kind of nitpicking at what Stockton has done today. It's just been really good execution from both of these teams, and that's what makes it all the more frustrating to be down in this game.
Certainly, CJ. I mean, like we said before, very even between both sides. We've seen a lot of good play from the outside hitters from both sides in this third set, but, I mean, overall, could have asked for a better matchup, but I think this is probably the most important set, if you ask me, CJ. Tied 1-1 right now. Whoever gets this victory gets that 2-1 lead. It just feels like a different game.
100%. And it's something that I said coming into this set. I think both of these teams are kind of got to treat this like their season's on the line, like this is the tie-breaking set, because that's how you have to treat it when you're knotted up one set apiece. Everybody knows that this is such a huge set for both of these teams, and it's something that Montclair hasn't done a lot this year. They haven't seen themselves in a 1-1 situation a lot of times, so for them, something kind of new. I think they've really done a nice job of standing to the test. Credit to Coach Stawinski on the work that he's done today.
Yeah, like we said, a great coaching battle between Stawinski and Walker. Batista on the serve. It's too strong. Another service error gives Stockton the point.
Man, I mean, question on whether it would be received till on the very last moment. Ball's a little bit long, and that's a tough one to come out of the timeout there if you're Montclair State and just give it right back to Stockton.
Capone on the outside trying to tip it over. Great recovery by Stockton to keep it alive. Hit towards the middle. Rodman will dig it out. Karsic on the outside to Muse, blocked at the net. Hit over to Lauer on the left side, blocked at the net by Capone to give Montclair State a 3-point lead.
And this is where you see Montclair State finding their opportunity. Nicole Palmer's on the bench right now. She is not on the floor, and that's so huge and so critical for Montclair State to try to take advantage of that. Right now is the time to attack at the net and to find your success. When she's been on the floor, it's kind of been dominant for Stockton, but when she's off the floor, you have to take advantage, and that's exactly what Montclair State did on that last one.
Lauer digs it out, gets it back in the middle, and it'll be hit straight down in the middle. Great job by Lauer. It's now 22-20. We've seen a good game from Lauer. They've gone to her a lot on the outside so far, CJ.
Yeah, Lauer, such a huge contributor on the team. And when you're teammates with the person who has dominated the NJAC these last couple of years, you might not get the credit that you deserve. But Lauer, an absolutely fantastic player, and I'm sure it's a player that Montclair State thought about in their film room as somebody that they had to game plan around. She's certainly a weapon.
Reagan Mendick once again serving for the Ospreys, hit into the net on the return by Montclair State, but they're able to get it over. Ritchie on the outside to Lauer once again, and will it stay in? Nope, went out of bounds. Montclair State again takes a 3-point lead.
Incredible judgment from Emily Karsich on that last rally right there. She knew that that ball was going over the top and it was going to be an easy tap for Stockton, so she got to the floor and she played that angle perfectly, kept it alive, and obviously Montclair coming away with that point, now just 2 points away from taking a 2-1 set lead.
Hatcher on the serve for the Red Hawks. Dug out by Karkov. Tried to hit it over as Palmer. Rodman bumps it to Muse. Muse can't keep it in bounds. Another point for the Ospreys, 23-21 now in a pivotal third set.
I know you mentioned Palmer's name. She's back on the floor here for the Ospreys, and that's kind of leading. It's a factor in Muse sending that wide. She's trying to work around Palmer, who's going side to side. She's playing the block on both sides, just so athletic. And so for Muse, she tries to go very much diagonal and just leaves it a little bit long.
Timeout called by Coach Stawinski. 23-21, Montclair State leads this third set. It's currently 1-1 in the match. CJ, what is Coach Stawinski telling the women on his team right now?
Yeah, no. Well, firstly, you don't often see timeouts in volleyball when you're the leading team, and especially not when you're 2 points away from winning a set. So definitely an interesting spot for Coach Stawinski to call a timeout, but I think it's a good one. You know, right there, I think that Montclair's offense coming out of the last timeout maybe a little bit flat in some cases, those last couple of rallies. And so I think right now the huddle, it's more of just a reset button. I think you felt it sway to Stockton a little bit, got a little quiet in this room. You didn't really see a lot of positivity. It's more just kind of intense, and that's what this game has really been. I think Coach Stawinski in that huddle there telling his team, reminding them, hey, smile, we're having fun, we're keeping it light. It's something that Katie Rodman said coming into this game was going to be huge for them, and we asked her about, you know, her collegiate career being on the line, and that was the response that she gave, keeping it light and having fun. Those were her two big keys right there for Montclair, and I think that's a big reminder in the huddle right now.
Yeah, that was excellent stuff from Rodman, and when we talked to Coach Stawinski as well, CJ, he was very confident going into this game. He has a lot of, he said that this is a young team, we know this, but they play like they're veterans, right? They play like they've been here before, and he has a lot of faith and confidence in some of the young stars as well in this team. Lauer on the serve, dug out by Rodman, but it goes out of bounds. Tough play for the Red Hawks, give Stockton a chance to try to come back in this game.
Wow, great work from the Ospreys. I mean, just absolutely fantastic from Lauer. She kind of got Rodman backed up a little bit, kind of tricked her with that, which is really hard to do against a senior libero, but great ace right there, and this thing's a one-point game.
Hatcher bumps it to Karsich. Thomas on the run, blocked at the net. My goodness. That time it was Camille De La Torre. Hasn't got a lot of playing time so far, but comes up maybe with the play of the game.
How about a fresh contributor right there? Absolutely huge. And obviously, if the Stockton, one of these two teams, is going to need to score both points to keep this thing away from a tiebreaker scenario.
Muse hits it over, dugout. Mendick now on the run. Palmer on the outside, and it was out of bounds. Montclair State is 1 point away from taking this third set, 24-23.
Wow, a huge break. I don't think you can draw it up better for Stockton right there. They get it to Palmer, and an absolutely huge swing from her. Just goes a little bit wide, and now set point. What do you know?
Muse hits it. Camille De La Torre bumps it. Palmer trying to get the response. It hits the ceiling off the dig by Muse. Batista hits it at the net, and Montclair State wins the third set. A huge set victory for Montclair State.
just a victory, a set victory of epic proportions right there for Montclair State. It does not get any more intense than it was right there. I mean, everybody, you look around this building, whether it be Coach Stawinski, whether it be Coach Walker, whether it be anybody in the crowd, any of the players on the court, you could just feel it. You can feel that nervousness just kind of radiating off of everybody. I mean, here in the booth, we got no stake in this game, and we feel that nervousness, and it's just that energy to be able to come out with that absolutely massive. First of all, you saw from Stockton coming out of that timeout right there, and they come away with 2 quick points. They knocked this up, and you're thinking, oh my goodness. I mean, Coach Stawinski calls the timeout. It absolutely backfires. You see that final point right there. The Ospreys giving it their all, just unable to survive that attempt right there. The attack from Montclair State, it was inevitable. And eventually they would pull things together at the end of the set, and they did so right at the right time.
It's hard to not feel that tension here at Panzer. I mean, just kind of the way the building is constructed, but there's a good showing from the fans here from both sides. Montclair State takes that crucial third set victory, but, I mean, just seems like we say this all the time. Batista comes up huge when they need him. She's been fantastic all year.
I mean, just really nice job there. We saw her in the second set, maybe a little bit quiet there in the first. We saw her takeover start there in the second set, and she really built upon that in the third. It seemed like those first couple of points, things were being rejected, and it was a really nice work from Nicole Palmer as well as other teammates to be able to team up and kind of shut her down at the point of attack. So that's absolutely huge. But she was able to kind of go through that and to fight through that, and eventually she found her openings. She played smart. It wasn't so much overpowering, and that's really not what it's going to be in this game. It's all about the finesse, finding the openings when they're presented to you and taking advantage of them.
You got to give Montclair State credit. They haven't gotten rattled from this Stockton defense. As we know, this is one of the better defenses that you're going to see at the Division III level, honestly. And, you know, you think about Richie, you think about the play right of the net. How has Montclair State been able to stick to their game plan and do what they do best?
Well, they've played a lot more loose here in these last couple of sets, I think. I think they were a little bit wound up coming into the first game, and obviously Stockton played 2 days ago, right? So the rust and the playoff jitters have kind of been shaken off of them, so they're going to come in with an upper hand in that area of the game. However, I think that Montclair has kind of settled in really nicely. They've done a nice job of kind of burying that first set and anything that happened right there, and to be able to just kind of play loose and play free and to have fun with it. These games, that's one thing you got to remember. I mean, this is fun. This is just really great volleyball all around. I think they've done a fantastic job from, you know, top to bottom from the second and third sets. They've overcome any adversity right there. Look at Vincent Bacone's dance moves on the sideline. Vin, how about those dance moves? Absolutely fantastic. I mean, he's having fun. Why shouldn't everybody else have fun?
Vincent's always having fun. One of the best in the business, Vincent Bacone. But here we have a great matchup between two great teams. Montclair State leads 2-1. Game is far from over, though, CJ. We've seen some crazier comebacks throughout the years. Coach Walker's been in this situation before. What do you expect from Stockton coming into this fourth set?
Well, now their season's on the line, right? And that's really where coaching starts to flourish. So I think that huddle is going to be a really big topic of discussion. Obviously, we saw, I mean, Montclair already out on the floor, and it was still Stockton talking things over. So there's a lot to be changed, you know, from set to set. I think that Stockton's played pretty well. They've minimized their errors. They've made Montclair State beat them, in which Montclair has. So it's hard as a coach to kind of try to find things to build on or things to change, but I expect some rotations to be different. I expect the point of aggression to be a little bit different, and I just all around, I want to see Stockton play like their season's on the line, because that's what the fact of the matter is.
Yeah, you're 100% right. NJAC semifinal volleyball here we have at Panzer. It's an exciting one. Montclair State's first home game in the NJAC playoffs since 2021. As you mentioned before, Katie Rodman was a participant on that roster, and she really has showcased that leadership throughout this game. Like we said, we got to talk to her yesterday, and, you know, maybe she's sometimes more on the quieter side, but she's found her voice this season and really has been a leader for some of the younger women on the team.
Well, more importantly, what I want to say, going into that practice, and, you know, we wanted to kind of conduct our interviews, and we wanted Katie Rodman, we wanted one of the freshmen on the team, just because we wanted to kind of highlight that polarization, right? What is that like? You know, it's got to be so different to experience as Katie Rodman, who's been in the playoffs 4 years now of playoff experience, and to kind of try to juxtapose that with a freshman. But much to our surprise, that answer was the exact same from both of Cameron Muse and Katie Rodman of how they're approaching the playoffs. And it really speaks to that leadership of Katie Rodman. She's kind of rubbed off on everybody else. You can feel it in that building. And nobody really feels like this is their first time. It seems as though they earned the right to be here. They prepared. It was no mistake that Montclair State earned a first-round bye now in the tournament, and now see it kind of play on into the postseason. From there, I mean, you did all the hard work in the regular season. Now you build and you execute everything that you've already created, and you go from there. So fantastic job from Katie Rodman, Rachel Curran as well. Just this senior class, this leadership group, it's just been absolutely fantastic. You can't speak enough to their impact.
You're 100% right, CJ, and you talk about Muse and also Rodman giving the same answer. That speaks to culture. That speaks to game planning. That speaks to what the team is all about. And you see the depth of this roster and how many women contribute to their victories. And, you know, that's very pivotal as we're about to get ready to go in this fourth set. A little confusion. I think a little confusion about who's allowed on the court and who isn't at this point. Kind of just
we're ready to go. Let's do it, Tim.
Listen, I'm very excited for this fourth set, CJ. It's been great doing this game with you, but this could win it for Montclair State. If they win this set, they will get the victory here. But like I said before, don't knock Stockton yet. They've been in this situation before. Hatcher on the serve. On the attack is Stockton trying to come at it right away. Muse trying to return it, and a kill from Muse right on time. She's been fantastic today.
Katie Rodman starting that off. Right place, right time for her. Caught another laser coming her direction, able to corral it, and you get it back to your main attacker, and you let her do the rest of the work.
Ritchie digs it out. Mendick on the run, tries to feed it to the outside, and a really nice kill from Wilson.
Yeah, honestly, I like the approach there from Montclair State and from Stockton as well. They're getting to what they want to do right away, and both of these teams not shying away from going right back to the outside. They're going face first into these blockades that they have faced. Obviously, the service error right there you see, but I think that both of these teams still sticking to what they know, and the block, nice work from Montclair on the block, just ends up going out of bounds, and the kill rings true for the Ospreys.
Muse doing the service duties for Montclair State now. 2-1 lead for the Red Hawks in this fourth set. Summer returns it, excuse me. On the attack, another kill for Wilson, her second of the fourth set. The Florida Southern College transfer has really made her impact on this set.
Yeah, she's done a lot of really good things today, and I think that's kind of been overshadowed by how good Montclair has played defensively at the net. A lot of times we've seen her get blocked, but it was only a matter of time. And these things are going to start to fall through, and they have to start this fourth set.
Capone hits it over. Summer able to bump it over. Wilson on the outside once again, and another kill, her third of the fourth set. She's come out right away.
Oh, she's getting going, Tim. And that is exactly what you need if you're the Ospreys right now. Season on the line, you go back to one of your stars that you can depend on, and she's coming through here in set number 4.
I mean, right away on the attack from Wilson. Looks like she may have gotten a hand on that block as well, CJ. You see the energy.
Third on the team in kills, third on the team in blocks during the regular season. We're seeing the best of both worlds from her here in set number 4. I mean, it's just been a takeover.
You were asking, CJ, going into the set, who's going to step up for the Ospreys, and so far it's been Wilson. Ritchie on the serve for the Ospreys, barely gets it over the net, a nice one. Karsich able to recover it. Muse hits it over. Ospreys now on the attack. Lauer on the outside. Hit up in the air by Hatcher. Capone on the left side, and a nice kill by Capone to give Montclair State a to give Montclair State a 1-point deficit in this fourth set.
Yeah, no, they're crawling back closer. You got there eventually, Tim. I mean, I think the ceiling ended up actually playing a factor there for Montclair on their behalf. That ball hitting the top, and McKenna Ritchie couldn't play it from there.
And it looks like Lauer may have gotten a hand. No, excuse me. It looks like a net violation on Montclair. 5-3 lead for Stockton.
Yeah, it was Lopez again. Officials signaling 2-0 with their hands.
Yeah. We see Stockton coming out in this set, guns blazing, trying to get back in this game. And, you know, they're a powerful team. They play well around the net, and you see them on the attack right now, CJ. Hatcher able to bump it to Karsich. Muse from the back line. Really nice dig by Ritchie, one of the better defenders on this team. Lauer on the outside, and a nice kill from Lauer. She's really come up big for the Ospreys when they've needed her.
Yeah, and right now I see the Ospreys. They're just picking apart this Montclair State defense. They're finding openings. They're kind of, looks like they have a grasp of that rotation. They figure out what Montclair wants to do, how they're playing these attack, and now they're finding open holes. However, that cannot happen right there.
Yeah, service error from Burton there. Ospreys lead 6-4 though in the fourth set.
And what did I say last set? I mean, I know you try to limit those mistakes. Whoever makes less mistakes ends up coming out on top. Stockton had a service error in the middle of a big run there that kind of halted their momentum, and it ended up being such a close score in that set that made a clear difference. So you got to try to minimize those.
That's an excellent point, CJ. Rachel Curran back in the game. We haven't seen her a lot since that first set. Great job once again by the Ospreys, and now have a 3-point lead.
Yeah, good for the Ospreys, able to get back to that. They didn't let that service error right there really affect the way that they've gone about this. Instead, they just play tough defense, and they get the first touch to where they want, and they go from there.
Lauer too strong on that serve. Another service error, and costly, CJ, very costly.
And think about it, right now, obviously 7-5 your score, you get rid of both of those, you could be up as much as 4 points right now, which is absolutely huge because we've seen the way both of these teams have responded. No lead seems safe in this game. You want to try to extend it as much as possible.
They're really keeping the Redhawks in this set, CJ. On the outside, and it looks like a perfectly placed spike there from Camille De La Torre. Kind of smiles after that one. Maybe didn't get all of it, but sometimes the placement's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, she found a perfect hole in the Montclair State defense, and this has just been the execution. Stockton just come out firing on all cylinders offensively.
Muse blocked at the net. Nicole Palmer, we haven't said her name much, but able to get the kill there, her 10th of the day. And, you know, it may not have been the best game for Palmer. We're accustomed to seeing her dominate, but able to get a big point there.
Yeah, I would say this is still set the standard, and we're really going to kind of see what she's made of with her back on the wall, with her season on the line here. Last year as a freshman, you could say, you know, it's tougher when you don't have that experience, but she's seen it, she's done it. Now it's time for her to kind of take advantage.
And Palmer with a little smile there, trying to find her groove. Could tell kind of a relief for her. She was in a little bit of a kill drought there, able to get going now, and Stockton is a healthy lead right now, CJ, 10-5.
And imagine it would be without the service errors.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you make a good point about that too.
Clearly the Ospreys with an upper hand right now.
And this is a big set. Montclair State, if they win this set, win the match. Karsich serving it up to Muse, dug out by Lauer. Palmer on the outside, and she finds the perfect placement in the middle of the defense to give Stockton an 11-5 lead, and she has 3 straight points for the Ospreys.
And you can see it, and Montclair State kind of dragged that along for a little while. They did a nice job of surviving, but they've been scrambling for answers. If you watch, they just haven't really found a rhythm at all.
This hasn't been their set. That's a great point. Palmer trying to keep her hot streak going. Great block at the net.
That's how you find a flow.
Rodman bumps it to Karsich. Muse now trying to get a response. It's blocked at the net. It looks like Palmer was responsible for that one. My goodness, Palmer started to take over, and a much-needed timeout called by the Redhawks.
And man, Stockton has jumped out to a lead quick in this one. It just feels like things are stockpiling right now for Montclair State. They just haven't been able to find the answers, and the Ospreys happy to take advantage of that. We asked, what would Coach Walker say in between sets? What does she want her team to do and to feel coming into this set? And well, I think we have our answer. They found the style that they want to play right now, and they've jumped out to the lead as a result.
I mean, this, as you said, CJ, this has been utter dominance from the Ospreys in this fourth set. I mean, we've seen Nicole Palmer really start to get things going as we have some stuff from Vincent on the sideline. Vincent, take it away.
All right, everyone. Well, we've had a barn burner of a game so far today, and it looks like at this point it may be going in to the 5th set after this one if Montclair isn't able to complete the comeback. Now, so far this game, we've seen a great showing from the NJAC Rookie of the Year in Cameron Muse. She has so far racked up 14 kills to her name. Going into this set, she's averaging around the 16 mark. This is something that you got to keep an eye on to go close. Now, on Stockton's side, number 11, Witherspoon, has been amazing. We're going to have to see what happens up as they have entered the court. Back to you guys in the booth.
Certainly true, Vincent, and Montclair State down 7 in this fourth set. Stockton really finding their groove, but Montclair State able to get back on the board, CJ.
Yeah, and that's how you want to come out of a timeout right there. Coach Dewinski quick to call that timeout. Obviously, a ton of adjustments needed, and I think really just kind of get back into that flow of things, and that's exactly what Montclair State able to do, and look for them to now try to build off top of that.
Traska serving now for Montclair State. Right in the middle, Witherspoon trying to get going. Hit over the net on the outside by the Ospreys. Muse trying to get a response, can't get the proper hand on it and hits it right into the net. Montclair State trying to find answers in this fourth set.
And that one just seemed like a symbol of the way that this fourth set has gone overall for Montclair. Obviously, you have one of your best players right there, Cameron Muse, and that's somebody that you seem like you can always depend on, and it happens to everybody. Just got it off the side of her hand, got to live with it and move on. This set far from over, but I can tell you one thing, Montclair does not want to go to a tiebreaker set.
That's certainly true, and like you mentioned, Stockton has experience. They've been in this moment before. They're not rattled. And it looks like little misformation set up right away from the Redhawks, and it's just been kind of a dreadful fourth set for them.
Yeah, that was really uncharacteristic of this team. You know, for them to come in, and especially when it seemed like they had really settled in this game, and we talked about it all day long, especially these last couple of sets. They've done a really nice job. Coach Dewinski has settled this team in, but now, I mean, just doesn't know. It's all just piling up at once right now for Montclair at the worst time possible.
Mendick about to serve for the Ospreys, who have an 8-point lead. But as you said, I mean, they look so good in that third set. It's just kind of really fallen away from them in this fourth set. Curran on the outside trying to get the Redhawks going. Wilson will hit it over and out of bounds. Montclair State really has only gotten points this set, CJ, by mistakes from the Ospreys.
Yeah, I don't think they have really forced the issue at all offensively. It's more so just trying to weather and respond to what Stockton has done, and it seemed like that time Stockton a little bit out of position, never quite found the rhythm that they wanted to go to, never found the spot that they wanted to hit, and you're going to see a ball just go out of bounds as a result of that.
Hatcher with a sneaky serve, barely gets over. Rodman bumps it to Karsic. In the middle is Thomas trying to hit it over. Capone now on the outside, and another point for Montclair State. Let's see if that gets them going.
What a touch right there from Sarah Capone. On the move to her right, and just got up with the left hand, and a nice little angle, able to hook it on over the net. Really nice work, and you see Montclair 2 straight points. We'll see if they can make any more of this.
Summer able to bump it on the outside. De La Torre hits it over for the Ospreys now. Muse trying to respond, blocked at the net, and it goes out of bounds. Montclair State starting to find their rhythm.
And there's that offense that they were kind of missing in the first part of this fourth set. Obviously, you know, a lot of it has been Stockton just kind of walking them down and figuring out what they want and going from there. But Montclair finally getting it out to Muse again. She comes through, obviously had that bad touch earlier on, but able to recapture what she had earlier on in this game.
Capone is blocked at the net. Rodman hits it over to Muse. Bumped up to the right side. It's Wilson. Tried to be dug out by Rodman, but Wilson has really, really had a good fourth set for this Stockton team. I mean,
and it's something that we didn't see a lot in the first couple of sets, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, between Wilson and Palmer, they've really dominated that right side of the net, CJ.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of where they've found themselves wanting to go. One thing I'm curious about, they've kind of neglected the middle after it was so successful earlier on today.
Point. Muse trying to find that right side just a little out of bounds. Stockton now up 16-9.
And I'm seeing Sophia Lopez on the bench right now, so no better time than the present to try to go to the middle if you're Stockton. Obviously, I mean, whatever's working, keep that rolling. So, I mean, nothing from here, but I am just a little bit confused on why they haven't gone that direction.
Capone trying to have a major response, but it's a nice play there to keep it alive. And Wilson continues her hot streak. 17-9 Ospreys lead in the fourth set. It's been utter dominance.
Yeah, I mean, she's gone straight on. She's gone diagonal. And no matter which way you look at it, Wilson is having so much success right now. And it's interesting, when you're keeping Nicole Palmer off the floor, you're doing something right as a player. And just another mistake piling on here.
Yeah, and this is going really well for the Ospreys right now. And we see Wilson and De La Torre really getting involved in this offense. we didn't see much of them the first 3 sets, CJ.
And whenever your back's against the wall, it always feels like it's somebody unexpected that takes the reins and comes through for you. And obviously the heroes right now here in this 4th set, those two, they've been absolutely fantastic.
Karsic gives it to Thomas in the middle, and it's too strong once again. Stockton has full control of this game right now.
Wow, Tim. This is not something that was anticipated coming on into this set. When you give a Montclair team like that momentum, you expect them to build off of it. All year they've built off of it. They've gone on, it seems like you let them win 1 set and they're going to win all the rest of them. So it's absolutely massive. Like I said in the first one, in the open, you want to get that first set, right? Because you kind of assert yourself and you say, you know, it's almost like a roll call. I'm here, and we're not dealing with this today. Because once Montclair, you know, once they get one, they're going to kind of roll with that. However, in the 4th set, that hasn't really been the case, and Stockton has come out and just halted everything altogether. That's high-quality coaching. That's high-quality volleyball, although now, as much as a 10-point lead, now back down to 8, and Montclair in a little string of points.
What a job by Emily Ferry coming into this game. First playing time, she gets a nice serve right away, but then makes a mistake and hits it out of bounds.
A lot of Ferry's opportunities, especially in recent weeks, have been as a serve specialist. She's come on into the game 4 serves, although she has remained in the game after that. We'll see if she is subbed out the next time that Montclair has to serve, but definitely a couple of quality serves right there, and her first time into the game is fresh legs getting it done.
Yeah, and Montclair State able to get up on the board there. Sarah Capone with the kill on the outside, but Emily Ferry's favorite athlete is Aaron Rodgers, CJ, who lives very close to Montclair State, about 5 minutes away. I know you're not the biggest Jets fan, maybe an Eagles fan, but I just wanted to point that out.
Are you an Aaron Rodgers fan, my friend?
I'm 100% a Jets fan, that's for sure.
That's not my question. That was not the question. That was not the question.
Lauer on the outside trying to keep this hot streak going for the Ospreys. Karsic can't get it over the net, and Stockton is 4 points away from getting a 4-set victory.
Yeah, big-time work from Stockton, and one thing that they've done is just make Montclair have to put out fires, it seems like, every rally. Every time there's somebody that has to hit the floor or go running somewhere, and that really just throws off everything. You can't get a solid look and try to get things to swing your way. When you're running, you're trying to worry about avoiding getting scored on.
Ferry digs it out here. Karsic tries to get it to Capone. She'll tip it over. The middle of the court here. Lauer on the outside. Ferry will bump it to Karsic towards the middle. Capone with a big-time kill. What a response by the Redhawks.
Really nice work that time by Emily Karsic. I mean, she's just been all over the place today, and she's so sure-handed as that setter for this team. Just a really nice job from Karsic all day long. That time finding Capone, getting it all the way across the other side of the net, and Capone burying it.
Listen, Emily Karsic may be the most important player on this team, CJ. She does a fantastic job setting up these outside hitters, one of the best passers you're going to see in the NJAC, and looks like Roll couldn't get her palm on that one, and it was hit out of bounds.
Peep the vert on that, though, Tim. I mean, Roll's head above, well above the net. Just some ridiculous vertical on J-Lo Roll.
Completely on display there. Palmer is blocked at the net, and it goes out of bounds. Montclair State starting to find their way.
And don't look now. This seems like a little bit of a taste of their own medicine right now that the Redhawks are giving Stockton.
Got to give Montclair State credit. This is, to be quite frank, not the best set for Montclair State. It's been kind of ugly here in the 4th set by them, but they're able to kind of crawl back. Only a 6-point deficit from them, and they're kind of showing that tenacity.
Yeah, and I know that we kind of got a little leisurely about things these past couple of points. I mean, it was a 10-point lead for Stockton, but all of a sudden, the Redhawks come and climbing back, and it was only a matter of time. It was very, very uncharacteristic the way that they played in the beginning parts of this set, and I just haven't seen them really make mistakes in the same way that they did, and for that, to try to come back from that in the middle of a set's really tough. Obviously, we saw them kind of take the break between the first and second set and hit the reset button, but you haven't seen mid-set adjustments from them yet when being faced with a deficit. They've kind of had the lead pretty much the entire time the last 2 sets, so now for them to claw their way back into this, and who knows, I mean, a couple more points here, and things might start to get really, really scary. You're talking about season on the line in this set right now for Stockton, and I don't think 2 minutes ago that was really the case.
Yeah, I mean, you make an excellent point too, CJ. It's kind of a completely different feel to this 4th set now. Montclair State starting to play a little looser. Roll in the middle. What a dig by Ferry to keep it alive. Kieran on the outside, and a kill My goodness, Ferry keeps it alive for Montclair State.
And one thing that Montclair State needed was a spark. And Emily Ferry's been able to come into the game and impact it in a multitude of ways. All of a sudden, this is a volleyball set right here.
It's not easy to come off the bench, and it's hit right into the net. Great job by Kieran on the block there. 17-21, Montclair trails, but I mean, they were down by as much as 10 before, CJ.
Yeah, and Stockton obviously tried to call the timeout to stop that, and they haven't been able to do so. The Redhawks have come out firing out of the timeout. A great sight to see if you're a Montclair State fan.
What a response by Lauer. My goodness. So much power on that kill, and kind of just a stern face after that.
Yeah, that's a silencer right there. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for this team. All they needed was one little splash here to kind of swing things back in the direction that they want. Sometimes all it takes is 1 point. We'll see if Stockton try to close this set out now.
Karsic on the run to Kieran on the outside. Lauer bumping it over to the right side. Palmer trying to respond, and a great job by her finding the opening in the defense.
And I saw Palmer during the timeout talking with the coaching staff, trying to figure some things out. And like you said, maybe hasn't been her best game today. Haven't really found the rhythm for her the way and incorporate her the way that they'd like to. But I think she's done a really nice job now coming out of that timeout and starting to see some results.
Well, it's funny, we're saying it's not the best game for her, but she still has 13 kills. That's a testament to how good of a player she is. What a block at the net! Keeps Montclair State alive in this fourth set. They're now down by 5.
And when you get a string of 2 points right there for Stockton, I mean, I think we both felt it, that it looked like it was time to close this thing out and send it to a tiebreaker set, but not so fast, say the Redhawks.
Karsic with the strong serve there. On the run is De La Torre. Karsic setting a Ferry on the outside. It's blocked at the net, and it stays in bounds. What a job around the net by the Ospreys.
Fantastic right there. That time they tried to get Ferry here on the near side, incorporated as an outside hitter a little bit. We haven't seen her do that so far today, and she is denied on her first opportunity. Look, another formation issue.
Formation issue is right, and that gives Stockton the 4-set victory. Not the way that you want to go out if you're the Redhawks. CJ, it seemed like after that third set, Montclair State was going to go home with it. It was over, but that 4th set did not go well for the Redhawks.
Oh, not at all, and that just did not go to plan. Like I said, and obviously you see Coach Dewinski on the screen right now. He's going to have to figure some things out. Writing down notes. We'll see what he has to say to this team in between the break here. But Montclair, we haven't seen them really come to a stop in the way that they've played these games. It seems like once they win a set, they can just roll from there. And we saw it during the regular season. I mean, they won something like 15 straight sets over a string of games. It just seems like you get that first one and you go from there. That's all it takes. And so for them to get on the board and then win the next one, it seemed like it was going to be much of the same. And it just has not been. Stockton, a fantastic response there in that 4th set. They looked like the better team all around.
They did, but I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what's going to happen in this 5th set, CJ, because both teams have been like night and day between what set has been happening. So anything can happen in this 5th set.
Oh, I mean, we are in for an absolute treat. And there's nothing, I'll tell you, there is nothing that you can prepare for like a tiebreaker set in the playoffs, Tim. Are you kidding me? Can you draw it up better than this? Can you write it better than this?
You can't. NJAC semifinal, it's tied 2-2 in the match. And we have just really seen some great volleyball between both teams. It's been a really good game played, CJ, but you really see the talent level on both sides.
Oh man, we've been in for an absolute treat all day, and it would be one thing, you know, if these two teams were just making mistakes left and right, and it's just whoever, they kind of make it easy for these two teams, and so now, for that to be, to be able to consider the fact that both of these teams are just absolutely great. I mean, they're playing great. There's no other way to describe it. And Stockton, only 2 losses in the regular season, were to the 2 teams above them in the tournament, Montclair State and William Patterson. And so now you get into this game and you have a chance. You come in with the chip on your shoulder. It just gives you that much more of a reason and much more of motivation to keep this thing going strong. And it certainly will create a storybook ending for either one of these teams. I mean, this has just been absolute cinema.
Yeah, 100% CJ. And you see Coach Lewinsky drawing up plays and drawing up formations going into this 5th set. You see him a little nervous, not kind of uncharacteristically. He's usually a guy who's poised, but I mean, he's a fantastic coach. He's been here before. What do you think that he's drawing up going into this fifth set, CJ?
Well, first, let's consider one-time NJAC champ, 4-time runner-up, but hasn't been back on the brink of a tournament since 2021. I mean, you got to be feeling nerves right now, to your point, Tim. I mean, nothing can really prepare you for this, and no amount of expertise as a coach. We know he is one. He has plenty of that, and so now, as a veteran player on this team, as a veteran coach on this team, excuse me, you got to be able to settle your team down right now. I think that's the main thing he's trying to do. Listen, he can be as nervous as he wants. He's not out there on the court trying to make something happen. So
yes.
The message right now, you got to go into the huddle, and you know what your team is built of. You know their strengths, you know their weaknesses, and you know that they have played their hearts out today. I mean, they have just absolutely played their tails off all throughout this game. And so now it kind of serves as a reminder. We're only going to 15 here, right? There's only a short amount of time to play your volleyball, and that's it. Your season on the line, control what you control, play your volleyball, and you'll be playing Saturday.
Oh, my goodness. We're in for a really good fifth set. Whoever wins this goes to the NJAC final, CJ. Willie P is in the NJAC final. William Patterson takes down Rowan. And William Patterson's been fantastic all year. They beat Montclair State earlier in the year, but whoever wins this game will face William Patterson in the final.
Yeah, it certainly makes for interesting. Either one of these teams will travel on the road. William Patterson, a straight sets victory against Rowan here tonight. And now on the flip side of things, we go straight sets in one, never really close, and now we're over here, and things have never been tighter.
Wilson trying to get it over the net. Montclair State on the board first. And you know, you mentioned William Patterson. That's a scary team. I actually did the broadcast early in the season when they played against Montclair, and they're well coached. They don't make many mistakes, CJ. They're a very deep team as well.
No, but you got to focus on the now right now. Willie P, that's a problem for tomorrow after a victory.
Emma Hatcher with the perfect serve and the ace. Montclair State up 2-0 early. What a response after a poor fourth set.
How about a spark from Emma Hatcher? Coming out of the gate, and two quick serves to put Montclair State up 2-0, and that one going straight into the net there. You'll trade the ace for the error. Still Montclair State, I like the way that they've come out here, a little bit more fire. And how could you not have that? It's something that's absolutely crucial right now. Both teams backs to the wall, and we're going to see plenty of intensity.
That's what you need to get a victory here. Great dig by Hatcher. Muse on the outside, and it was a little too strong. Tied 2-2 in this fifth set. But my goodness, we've seen some good action so far.
Yeah, that's a great look from Muse, too. I mean, does a really nice job of getting to her mark and just leaving it a little bit long. Big time swing from her, though. I like it a little bit long, and things are knotted up.
Can't receive the serve. Hit out of bounds. Stockton with a 3-2 lead. De La Torre, seen her playing time increase since the third set. She's been really good for this Ospreys team, kind of keeping them in this matchup. De La Torre hits a sharp one over Rodman, able to get to it in time. Muse will hit it over. Wilson bumped to the outside, and a big time kill. Nope, they're going to say it again. Lauer's had a lot of those today, CJ, where it's barely gone out of bounds. 3-3 tie.
I mean, we've had a number of different plays where we've seen both teams celebrating after the swing. It's definitely be something to watch, and for us, it's been fun on the edge of our seats. Got to keep an eye for that flag, certainly.
Yeah, like you said, there's been multiple plays where both teams put their fists in the air celebrating, and again, a close one stays in for the. They're going to say it stayed in for the Ospreys. They're now up 4-3.
They're making a double take now.
Yeah. I don't know. There's been a lot of close ones, CJ, but. Ritchie now serving for Stockton. This is a really fast-paced play to start this fifth set. Lauer on the outside, blocked at the net, and it goes out of bounds. Stockton take a 5-3 lead.
And right now, this is the most important thing. It was only a matter of time till one of these teams jumped out to a lead. Now, can they expand on it? Obviously, an abbreviated set here. We're only going to 15, so the quicker you're able to get out onto that lead, quicker you can try to close this thing out.
Batista trying to get things going from Montclair. Wilson on the run. She can't get to it in time. Now, we've brought up Lauer's name a lot today, CJ. She has 12 kills on the day and 23 digs. Talk about doing it offensively and defensively.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's huge. Kate Lauer, just an absolute professional. Now, she's in her junior year. And so another one of those. And honestly, she's one of the older players on the roster. Not a ton of seniors for Stockton either. So for her to have that experience, she's been here before, and she's been absolutely incredible here today.
Wilson just taps it over. Karsic to Batista on the outside, blocked at the net. It looked like Roll got a hand on that one. Batista trying to get it over once again. She'll tip it over. Lauer on the outside, blocked at the net and out of bounds. Another point for the Ospreys. They take a 6-4 lead.
Right now, it just seems like whoever's setting up their offense better is coming away with the point. We've seen plays where both teams are kind of running around and they're not able to really get any looks across the net there to score any points. They're just kind of sending it on over, looking to play from there. And for both of these teams, that starts with the first touch. Both of them going to have to receive off the serve right here, most importantly for Montclair State, and then try to work from there.
Hatcher bumps it to Karsic, trying to set up Batista once again. They fed her all set. Lauer, she's had a healthy dose of chances. That one will go out of bounds. It's now 6-5 Stockton. Back and forth once again, CJ.
Man, it's a seesaw, it feels like, just as far as the momentum goes. I know that Montclair hasn't exactly closed in on the lead yet, but they only trail by one, and I just feel it. Every point just changes the way that this building feels.
Muse able to dig that one out. Batista again on the outside. Will it stay in? It will! And she ties it up! My goodness, Batista comes up huge. The freshman ties it at 6.
Talk about a snipe there, Tim. I mean, just a huge shot and a confident one at that from Bryn Bautista. A lot of people would just go back toward the middle. Played a little bit safe, especially when you're losing in the last set of the game.
Lauer with the big-time response to give the Ospreys the lead. I mean, between Lauer and Batista, back and forth, all set, CJ.
Man, this has been incredible to watch between both of these teams, response after response. We don't know who has momentum. It doesn't exist anymore. It's not real.
They'll feed Batista once again. On the attack is Palmer. What a dig by Capone to keep it alive. Batista hits it over. Dug out now by Sommer. Palmer on the outside. Karsic with the perfect set to Batista, who finds the perfect placement to tie it at 7.
Firstly, how about the effort from Sarah Capone to keep this thing alive? Montclair able to kind of find their flow from there, and it's Bautista. You saw her with a big swing a couple of points ago, and now a soft touch. Both of them right on the line.
Roll towards the middle and a big kill. She's been fantastic.
Anytime you're able to find her on target and on time, obviously Stockton first to 8. Now the two teams will flip sides here in this 5th set. It's important to get to 8, and anytime you're able to find J-Lo Roll, in stride. I mean, it seemed like it was just telepathy, between her and the setter, and able to come out on top. There's no real chance for anybody to receive that.
J-Lo Roll's been, just pivotal for the Ospreys in this game. She's really dominated that middle, and
they've needed every single one of their impact players, as has Montclair State. Everybody has stepped up to the test today. It has been best against best.
Roll now serving for the Ospreys. Rodman gives it to Karsic. Muse on the outside, and a kill for Muse. She ties it at 8.
Best against best, Tim. And who do you look to all season long? They haven't really faced many questions, but when they do, there's been one constant. Cameron Muse, absolutely fantastic throughout the entirety of this season. That's who you want to get it to right now, the utmost faith in their freshman star.
Traska serving. On the return now, on the attack, it's hit and blocked at the net by Montclair State. Palmer trying to tip it over. What a dig by Karsic to keep it alive. Capone on the outside. Was it tipped? It was not. And the Ospreys take a 9-8 lead.
And I believe Coach Stawinski absolutely livid right now. He wanted 4 touches on Stockton. The officials.
Yeah, you see Stawinski out on the floor.
And he's going to receive a yellow card.
Wow. I mean, you never see Coach Stawinski that livid. Wow.
It's hard to tell from our vantage point what the situation was and who all got a hand on that, but anytime you see Coach feeling some type of way and receiving a yellow card,
I mean, yeah, and
he's trying to get this team fired up, and this building is rocking.
Coach Stawinski's never got to get like that, so if he gets like that, he may have a point, but 9-8 lead for Stockton. This building is rocking on both
This
sides.
might have played to Montclair State's advantage right here.
Yeah, I mean, they are 12-3 at Panzer this year, CJ. Dominated at home. You got a Let's Go Redhawks chant going now. I mean, listen, Panzer gets loud. It's a tight-knit stadium. And, I mean, you could not have drawn up a better script, CJ.
You could not have. I mean, I can just leave it at that. Fantastic volleyball here tonight.
Mendick on the serve. Bumped by Batista on the outside. It's Muse blocked at the net. Great job to keep it alive by Batista, but it falls straight down. Stockton now has a 2-point lead.
And Lily Thomas tried to play that on a defensive approach. You're going to see timeout here from Montclair State. Stockton just 5 points away from winning this match. Lily Thomas tried to play that defensively. I think she thought that ball was going to be a little further than it was and kind of be tapped on over the net, and it just never got there.
You could feel the nerves in this building, CJ. Coach Dawinski's still chirping after that timeout, and what is he telling his players right now? They're down 2, and they have a chance to try to come back. Whoever wins this set goes to the final. What do you think he's saying in that huddle, CJ?
Man, and first of all, Coach Dawinski, you never see him feel some type of way, but you know he is just radiating energy and nervousness right now. You can feel it all at once. And I think right now, especially when you're down in the 5th set, it's easy when you're up to feel confident and to settle in a little bit more. But when you've been playing from down pretty much this entire set, the Montclair has been playing at a deficit, you just feel a little bit more tense. You feel a little more afraid to make mistakes. And I think he has to tell them, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are coming as part of volleyball. It's the things that they do right that kind of outweigh all of that. And so for right now, especially in times of question and 5 points, we could be talking about the end of Montclair State's season. They got to play their volleyball.
10-8 lead for Stockton. Karsich setting up Capone. She'll tip it over. It's blocked at the net. Bumped over to Karsich. Muse on the outside, trying to respond, and Muse with the big-time play cuts the deficit to 1 for the Redhawks. Cameron Muse has been excellent all game. The NJAC Rookie of the Year with the exclamation point.
And Montclair coming out and playing some Redhawk volleyball. Start this thing off. Capone couldn't quite get it on over the net. It was teetering, but they're able to respond. She played it very calmly, got it back up. They're able to get it to the other side, the Muse, and Muse does what she does best.
On the outside is Wilson. Is it strong? Yes, it's too strong, and Montclair State ties it up at 10. They've done a great job out of the timeout so far in this game. Look at Stawinski. I mean, you can tell how much this game means to him, and Montclair State ties it up at 10. If you're Stockton, what's going on in the huddle right now, CJ?
Oh, man. Well, rarely do you see a timeout called, and then 2 points later coming out of the timeout, you see another one. But obviously, Coach Walker over there for Stockton, not liking what she was seeing and not liking the way that this game was trending. And like I said in the last timeout, when you're up 2 points, even though there's still that nervousness and you want to close it out so bad that you feel just a little bit uptight, I think you can kind of settle in a little bit better and play your game a little bit better. But also that can play to your disadvantage. Maybe Stockton may be a little too loose coming out of the timeout. There wasn't really as much of a sense of urgency as we have been accustomed to seeing them play all throughout the day. They need to play like they did in that 4th set. And I think that this timeout kind of stands as a reminder, hey, your backs are on the wall here. It's 1st to 5 right now.
Yes. But
1st to 5
I was just
for
about
the
to say
season.
that. 5 points away. Whoever gets to 5 first goes to the NJAC final and has a date with William Patterson. But, I mean, both teams, it's just even match all game. All game,
All
CJ.
game.
It's been fantastic to watch. Hatcher serving for the Redhawks in a huge moment.
What a treat.
Montclair State's first home playoff game since 2021, and it is a packed crowd here at Panzer. Dug out nicely by the Ospreys. Fight foot around the net, and the Ospreys take an 11-10 lead thanks to Witherspoon.
What a touch right there from Witherspoon. A lot of bodies kind of jumbled up in the middle for Stockton, and the same goes for Montclair. They just match bodies to bodies right there. And so for Witherspoon, she just taps it to that far side. Nobody home, and Stockton coming out of their timeout now firing.
Karsich hitting over to Muse on the outside. It's too strong, and it's a 2-point lead for the Ospreys.
And Coach Stawinski still a timeout in his pocket right now. Curious to see when that is to be used. If he decides to use it at all, now would be the time, I feel like.
De La Torre on the serve here. Rodman digs it out. Muse on the outside. She'll tip it over. Setting it up on the outside. It's Wilson blocked at the net by Muse. What a response by the Redhawks.
And Stockton cannot believe that this ball was not called out of bounds. I mean, we have two officials right there down the line. Neither one of them signaling that this thing's out. It looks like it stays in.
Muse,
and how about the response? Maybe a little too lofty on the first time over from Muse. It set Stockton up with a great opportunity, and then they come back to that near side, and Muse, the rejection at the perfect time.
Yeah, Muse a little frustrated with herself on that spike attempt, but she makes up for it with that big-time block.
What a
Montclair
response.
State's down 1. Will it stay in? It stays in on the serve. On the outside is Lauer with the kill. Stockton 2 points away from going to the NJAC final. What a play by Lauer. She's been fantastic in this one.
Yeah, great serve from Muse all the way to that back line, but Stockton played it so well. They were ready for it. They had two people there able to play it up, and it seemed no hesitation whatsoever. They're 2 points away from moving on.
Batista on the outside with the kill! My goodness, Batista misses clutch. Puts Montclair within 1. I mean, my goodness, Batista, whenever she's called on in big moments, usually capitalizes. Montclair State down 13-12 with the Rodman serve. It stays in, miscommunication. Montclair State ties it at 13.
And these Redhawks were ready. They haven't been in this situation all year, Tim. Their season's on the line.
Timeout called. What a response from Montclair State. They were on their heels. Rodman with a fantastic serve, ties it up. CJ, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, my goodness.
You look at this team, this Montclair State team, and all the talk has been how young they are, right? This is their first time facing these types of situations for a lot of these players, right? And a lot of contributors at that. You're going to see Bautista, who's been able to come through in a bunch of situations, Muse, Capone. I mean, the list goes on and on for these Red Hawk players. You start to go down, and first of all, how about the freshman getting involved, Bautista? She just seems like she's built for the moment. Anytime her name is called, she faces it with a smile and with confidence, able to get this back to a 1-point game. And then you turn to your senior, Tim, your best server.
Yes.
Your senior,
Yes.
Katie Rodman. And she was ready. She was ready. We had a freshman ready, a senior ready, and it's first to 2.
That's been the name of the season for Montclair State, right? You have that strong play from your freshmen. You have that strong play from Rodman and Kieran. And, I mean, my goodness, could not have asked for a better treat here in Montclair. Rodman serving. It is even at 13. Both teams are 2 points away from having a trip to the NJAC final against the Pioneers. Rodman on the serve. Dug out nicely on the outside by Lauer. Montclair State now on the attack. It's Batista. She'll hit it over, and it stays in! Batista has a 1-point lead, and they're 1 point away from going to the NJAC finals.
What a find from Bryn Bautista. Tim, what did I say? She's ready. She was ready. Back left corner, nobody home. Match point.
Rodman on the serve. It stays in. Lauer on the outside on the run. Nice play by Muse to keep it alive. Batista on the outside is blocked at the net. Set up for Lauer now. And Lauer ties it at 14. And now you got to win by 2, CJ. 14-14.
Man, just a crusher there for Montclair and this building on one side and relief on the other side for Stockton. You see players taking deep breaths, trying to catch their breath. No way to prepare for this thing. You got to play all out right now. First to 2.
Kristen Burton on the serve. It's returned by Montclair. Batista. And they say it was out of bounds. Ospreys have a 1-point lead. My goodness. Batista had a good look there, CJ.
Yeah, she did. I mean, it was another one for her. They keep going back to her over on that side. Tried to tightrope down that left side. Coach Stawinski going to call his final timeout with match point now the other way. How about the way that the Ospreys have flipped this thing on its head in a matter of seconds?
You got to give both teams credit, CJ. I mean, it just seems like every time both teams are on their heels, there's a response. And, I mean, just the tenacity, the grit from both sides. It's been fantastic. It's very Jersey-like for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is absolutely right. It does not get any better than this. You got some NJAC, and you pair that with some high stakes like this. You put a playoff game behind this, and you got two storied head coaches that played against each other so many times, have seen each other so many times, have tried to game plan around each other so many times. I mean, you literally cannot draw it up better than this. I mean, I don't know how many times I've had to say it today. It's been picture perfect for some NJAC volleyball.
I mean, literally, and like you said before, a classic, a story-like ending here at Panzer. I mean, got to give the Ospreys credit. Montclair State had that response, but they're able to take the lead. If they score one more point here, CJ, they get the victory and go home. They get to go home and go to the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And this serve going to be so important right now. Stockton, you see, on the verge of moving on, sending the Red Hawks packing. You can't be up too uptight, regardless of who you are, no matter what team.
Burton serving. Dug out by Batista. They'll set her up on the outside. It's blocked at the net. What a recovery by Lopez to keep it alive. My goodness. Lopez hits it over. Setting up the big attack here. Dug out by Muse. They'll give it back to her on the back line. It's tipped over. Setting up Lauer on the outside. Blocked at the net. Lauer hits it over. Hatcher has it. On the outside is Batista, blocked at the net. Rodman digs it out. Korsic to Batista, and it goes out of bounds. Stockton is going to the NJAC final. My goodness, what a job by the Ospreys. They will have a date with the Pioneers in the NJAC final, and Coach Stawinski is livid that there was not a carry call on that last one.
Yeah, certainly you can raise some questions right there. Potentially a carry on that last one. Ball goes over the net regardless. We played on from there, and it was just a little too long in the end. Montclair State coming up a foot short.
My goodness, what a job by Stockton to get the victory here, CJ. They will face William Patterson in the final, but Montclair State shouldn't hang their heads. That was a fantastic matchup between both sides.
Yeah, well, I mean, what an effort from both teams right there. And all day, you alluded to it, it's just a pendulum swinging back and forth. I mean, first of all, Stockton takes that first set, just absolutely huge to come out and make that statement right away. And we weren't sure what we were going to see from the Red Hawks. A fantastic response from them in sets 2 and 3. And now you start to feel that thing go the opposite way. How will the Ospreys respond? And they respond in just the best way possible, able to come through and win that final tiebreaker set, able to get to that first of 15. As you see the final right here, the final play, that ball just sailing a little bit too wide. You can see the euphoria for Stockton as the Montclair State team brings it up right now. Nothing to hang their heads about. What a season, what a run it's been. Obviously, they will have to wait for an at-large bid for the NCAA tournament. Not sure how things will shake out there, but definitely they would like to be able to control their own destiny. Just coming up a little bit short tonight.
Great matchup between both teams. I mean, literally a classic here at Panzer, but Stockton will face William Patterson in the final. They win in 5 sets. I'm Tim Glass alongside CJ Staniak and the Red Hawks Sports Network crew. We will see you guys next time.